Mayor Kenny, and we're going to delve into that just a little bit more. At 12 noon, we're going to have Reverend Bill Moore on to talk about the black clergy and their plans for tomorrow. It's election day. It is election day. And we got a lot to say because if you read the Philadelphia Daily News and Inquirer, you would think it's over. They then picked the winners. They then told you it was over because they don't trust that you can make decisions for yourself. They have an agenda. They want you to be a part of that agenda. They want to discourage you by telling you a week ahead who's going to win. And it's the language that they use in the headlines that they use in that language. And so we're here today to speak up, speak out, share with you our concerns, our community's concerns, because we're all a collective community. Last week when we were on Wednesday, we went through a very extensive report card giving grades to mayor and city council on what we believe the agenda for the African American community needs to be in Philadelphia. And I'm going to turn it over to Emma Chappelle, and she's going to tell you where we are with the report card and exactly when it will be up on our website.
Oh, great. Thank you, Joanne, and good morning, everyone. We've been as you know, we've been working on the report card for the mayor and city council. We have completed that scorecard, and now we need to, we're going to distribute it by way of our website later today. But it's very informative. We've talked about all of our categories that we've been working on, such as economic development and housing. We've written about education. We've talked about healthcare or behavior health, and what did I say? Education. What was the other one? Well, anyway, we've written all about the issues that most impact our lives, and we've analyzed and placed a score beside all the mayor and all of the city council. And so we're excited about that, and I think you will find it very informative and very sad, because much of what we've looked at, in spite of all the discussion and resolutions and things that and legislation that is being passed, half of it is not being implemented. And so it's very unfortunate, and I'm glad that we're monitoring this situation and we're going to be able to report on it. And this is just a report card as of now. We plan to monitor it from now going forward and let the public know exactly what is happening in the government in the city of Philadelphia. And so it can be earth-shattering, Joanne, for us to look. When we look at it, there were so many failure grades on so many categories, it's embarrassing.
So, you know, Emma, we're about the business of telling people what they should know. And if people think that we're going to go away after tomorrow's election, we're not here for the election. We're going to hold people accountable for the people came out, they endorsed certain people, and if you're elected and you were a part of that endorsement strategy, then you also bought into that agenda, and we're going to hold you accountable for that agenda.
That's right. We're
not going anywhere. And, you know, we say things that sometimes people don't like.
Right, of course.
And don't want to hear and would like for us to shut up. But we're not. And so I'm curious about a couple of things. And we're going to look at the campaign contribution list after the election and come back and report to you who got what from whom. And then we're going to watch going forward exactly what kind of legislation and all of the other things that get moved.
Absolutely.
If there are any, you know, who gets hired, who doesn't get hired, who gets the contracts, who doesn't get the contracts,
right?
If there are any improvements. we get on this mic and there are others who have been, for the last 6 months, pointing out all of the things that needs to be improved in the city. I had a difficult time getting around the city. I think it was on Thursday and Friday because the mayor had all of the paving trucks out.
Getting the potholes?
Getting the potholes. And he was in some, I was told this because I didn't see this myself, but one of the stations was out following him on the first day. And they went on a certain block in the Northwest or in East Oak Lane or West Oak Lane. And they interviewed a couple of the women. They said, he ain't kidding nobody. It's election time. And, and the thing is, one of the things that I tell people all the time, don't insult my intelligence. Just don't do that. Don't all of a sudden give us something 3, 4, 5 days before the election. If we talk about something, Emma and I count, that a few days later it will be in the paper. The mayor has a task force doing this, that, and working on that. Well, where were you the 4 years that you've been in office, or 3? He likes to say he hasn't been in 4, and he's correct. He's been in 3+ years, and where has he been?
Right.
Where has he been?
And where has all this help been for the African American community? What that suddenly cropped up now all of a sudden during the month of May, the election month. Now there's plans for business, economic development, plans for minorities to get jobs, African Americans to get jobs. It's all kinds of plans going on that were not in existence before now.
There was a couple of people that got promoted recently and got positions that they would never have thought about.
That's right.
Because and here's what I don't understand: African American women are the super voters in the city of Philadelphia. But they're not reflective in the leadership of the city government. They're not reflective in that. They're not a part of his appointments. And then they will get 1 or 2 people whose titles that they've been around there for a little while, and then they raise up the titles and say, here, we got somebody for you.
Yeah.
We're not fooled by that.
And make them director, but don't put them in the real cabinet.
We also want you to follow the money. And we're pretty concerned about this race in West Philadelphia and the investment that this group 3.0 has made. When people who don't have your interest at heart suddenly have a great candidate for you, suddenly put money behind that candidate, you need to question that.
That's right.
You need to question it.
Because the people that put the money behind it are the ones that are going to benefit, not the community.
Look, the best way, if you want to capture a city, you want to do the things that you want to do. I found it really interesting that the language that was being used was council prerogative. That grassroots people all of a sudden became unhinged about council prerogative. And I told Emma several months ago I wasn't buying that was an organic concern on the part of the grassroots groups that was leading it. Now, let me just say that I'm not casting aspersions regarding the grassroots groups that have come forth. I think that they may not know that they're being manipulated because money manipulates. And when you have concerns and you're not funded, and most groups that are grassroots fight for being funded, in their hearts, they want what's right for their communities. But we also have to recognize that we can be manipulated. We can be manipulated by those who have the resources. What has happened in Philadelphia for a very long time is that we have been manipulated. And that's why they can say that they understand what the outcome of this election is going to be. Because they figure, look, we put the money in there to manipulate you, so therefore we control you. We control you. That's so, I read in the Daily News and Inquirer with glee, they say, oh, well, the other candidates, they don't have any money. Right. So therefore money is going to trump this because, he's got all of the money, he's got the ads. The other thing that disturbs me is that go back to when John Street was mayor, and suddenly, they felt that the city was corrupt. Because you know that when people of color run things, suddenly it becomes corrupt in the eyes of certain people. If, let's say, that his benefactors, the people who raised the money for him, a large group of people, got indicted by the feds with over 100 counts.
That's right.
We couldn't stop reading the headlines in the papers. Oh, there would be so much chatter. Notice how quiet that is. Notice when there was the endorsements that very little was said about that. Very little. Because they don't want you. They want to highlight the things that they want you to be concerned about, and then they want to keep quiet the things. Now, after this election is over and that trial comes up, and I don't know what will come out in that trial. I suspect lots of things will come out. And then people will ask themselves, well, how come we didn't know about that before the election? How come we didn't know?
Well, I can assume that they would not have been indicted if they didn't have something against them. Because they went so far as to indict both Johnny Doc and Bobby Heenan. So it means to me that there's something there, but nobody's talking about it.
No, I mean, you would not know that there was an indictment in this election because, it's so very, very quiet.
Right.
But
That'd be on the African American side.
Yes,
that's right. They would be all over the place.
It would be all over the place. They would be assumed by relationship that they're crooks. Look, I keep laughing because we talked about PRWT services, U.S. facilities, and when Mayor Street spoke out about it. Now, lots of people spoke out about it. Alan Buckafit spoke out about it. There were others who spoke out about it. But the question that was asked of me, which I still giggle about, does John Street have some interest financial interest in PRWT? Now, to me, that's so telling that he could not have a concern about an African-American company losing business because, you see, we're always for sale.
That's right. That's what they think.
But the people who have demonstrated that they have been for sale, and that their behaviors, if they care to know about it and look at those contracts and see where they went and tie them to the money and the investments, no. Those questions don't get answered. But
no, they're hushed up. In fact, they're hushed up.
They're hushed up. But my goodness, he couldn't speak out about it because he had to have some vested interest. It's, we got to wake up. People can only do to you what you allow them to do to you. And you have to push back.
Yes.
We talked the other day about the news. And we said what you should do with their recommendations is wrap it up in fish. But, and throw it on out.
That's right. The
Well,
newspapers.
you can take some of the information, but remember, they got a slant. They got a vested interest. And it's not your interest. Because if they cared to have your interest, they did some sort of survey in this mayor's race. And they had all of these categories, but they didn't survey African Americans. It was like you didn't exist in the city and that your opinion didn't count. We're going to tell you what people think in the city. And they had special categories, but not one category referred to the concerns of African Americans. 46% of the Philadelphia population, but they didn't care.
They didn't care.
We're going to go to break, and when we come back, I want to read to you something about an election, and we'll be back. You're listening to 96.1 FM. And did I just do 96.5 FM and 900 AM?
You were right, 96.1
Okay,
FM.
so because I don't have my glasses on, and I usually look up there, but I'm going to put them on. We'll be right back.
EcoWord. Wednesdays on Reality Check with Charles Ellison.
4 p.m. till 7 p.m.
Right here on Word Radio.
And WordRadio.com.
1 in every 4 of us can't make ends meet. We can keep pre-K for our children and still get rid of that ridiculous soda tax. Drug injection sites are not safe, and someone gets killed almost every day in Philadelphia. From poverty to potholes, we can do better. I am Anthony Hardy Williams, and I have been listening to you.
We can move Philadelphia forward together. Vote Anthony Hardy Williams for mayor. Paid for by Williams for mayor.
WordRadio.com.
I'm supporting City Councilwoman Janie Blackwell for re-election in the 3rd District. I'm proud of the work she's done already. Here's what she's done lately. Mount Vernon Manor, Mantua Square, $1.2 million for renovations at Miles Mack Rec Center, $17 million for Lucian Blackwell Rec Center, $15 million for King Sessing Rec Center, and introduced Parking Authority Amnesty Bill to bring relief to residents with old parking ticks and much more. May 21st, push button 84 for Janie Blackwell.
I'm Janie Blackwell, and I authorize this commercial. Stanley L. Strader, Treasurer.
What's cheesy, topped with a fluffy egg and crisp applewood smoked bacon? Easy. McDonald's new $2 breakfast deal. For a limited time, get a flaky bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit for just $2. And if you're craving something savory and sweet, get a delicious bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles for the same price. Hurry in and bite into this tasty deal any day of the week. Only at McDonald's. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal for a limited time only.
Hi, I'm Thera Martin for Democratic City Council at-large candidate Bobby Curry, a die-hard WURD listener and forward member. Democrats in Philadelphia are coming together for change, and Bobby Curry says change starts with him. Bobby Curry opposes tax abatements, soda taxes, and cigarette taxes. He believes in fairness in school funding, youth job programs year-round, affordable housing, and a basic discount system on real estate and employment taxes for low-income senior citizens. May 21st, vote for change and push button number 70 for Bobby Curry.
This is Bobby Curry, and I approve this message.
I'm Democrat Jamie Gaudier, and I'm running for City Council in the 3rd District. Growing up in King Sessing, I learned the importance of community. I founded a program to help single moms graduate college, served as executive director of the Fairmount Park Conservancy, and created jobs and affordable housing programs. I'm Democrat Jamie Gaudier, and on City Council, I will battle gentrification and improve our schools. It's time for new leadership in West and Southwest Philly.
Paid for by Jamie for West Philly.
You're listening to The Source
On Word Radio.
96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
We're back. You're listening to WRD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source, Black Women's Leadership. I'm Joanne Bell, and I'm here with Emma Chappelle. And Emma, you had something you wanted to talk about.
I did. When we opened the show, you were talking about how people, some people don't like what we say and they think we're saying the wrong thing. Well, I know, for example, we went to a nice event last night for Lynn Carter, who was inducted,
Yes, and
inducted into the
congratulations.
Boxing Hall of Fame as a judge, and we were proud of her. But everyone that I spoke to at that event talked about how happy they were that we were on the air and that they listened to us every day and they like what we're doing and encouraged us to do more, because they realize that we don't have anything to gain by this. We're not doing this for ourselves. It's almost like we're paying forward. We have lived our lives. We're just giving back by trying to make sure that our community is informed. And I hear this everywhere I go. Oh, I listen to Word all the time, and I listen to your show, and we love the information that you're giving. So I just wanted to add that so that, you know, people don't think that people are against, everybody's against us. The ones who are against us, the ones, you know, we're telling the truth about these things that are going on in this city, and especially the negative things that are impacting our community.
So I want you to think about what I'm about to read to you, which is the testimony before the Credentials Committee. It was Fannie Lou Hamer. And so so when you think about not voting tomorrow, I want you to listen to this. Mr. Chairman, and to the Credentials Committee, my name is Mrs. Fannie Lou Hamer, and I live at 626 East Lafayette Street, Ruleville, Mississippi, Sunflower County, the home of Senator James O. Eastland and Senator Stennis. It was the 31st of August in 1962 that 18 of us traveled 26 miles to the county courthouse in Indianola to try to register to become first-class citizens. We was met in Indianola by policemen, highway patrolmen, and they only allowed 2 of us in to take the literacy test at the time. After we had taken this test and started back to Ruleville, we was held up by the city police and the state highway patrolmen and carried back to Indianola, where the bus driver was charged that day with driving a bus the wrong color. After we paid the fine among us, we continued on to Ruleville, and Reverend Jeff Sonny carried me 4 miles into the rural area where I had worked as a timekeeper and a sharecropper for 18 years. I was met there by my children, who told me that the plantation owner was angry because I had gone down and tried to register. After they told me, my husband came and said that the plantation owner was raising Cain because I had tried to register. And before he quit talking, the plantation owner came and said, "Fannie Lou, do you know? Did Pap tell you what I said?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Well, I meant that." Said, "If you don't go down there and withdraw your registration, you will have to leave." Said, "Then if you go down and withdraw," said, "if you still might have to go because we're not ready for that in Mississippi." And as I addressed him and told him and said, "I didn't try to register for you, I tried to register for myself," I had to leave that same night. On the 10th of September 1962, 16 bullets was fired into the home of Mr. and Mrs. Robert Tucker for me. The same night, 2 girls were shot in Ruleville, Mississippi. Also, Mr. Joe McDonald's house was shot in. And June 9th, 1963, I attended a voter registration workshop and was returning back to Mississippi. 10 of us was traveling by the Continental Trailway bus. When we got to Winona, Mississippi, which is Montgomery County, 4 of the people got off the bus to use the washroom. 2 of the people to use the restaurant. 2 of the people wanted to use the washroom. 4 people that had gone to use the restaurant was ordered out. During this time, I was on the bus. But when I looked through the window and saw that they had rushed out, I got off the bus to see what happened. One of the ladies said it was the state highway patrolman, and a chief of police ordered us out. I got back on the bus. One of the persons had used the washroom, got on the bus too. As soon as I was seated on the bus, I saw that they began to get 5 people in a highway patrolman's car. I stepped off the bus to see what was happening, and somebody screamed from the car that the 5 workers were in and said, "Get that one there." And when I went to get in the car, when the man told me I was under arrest, he kicked me. I was carried to the county jail, put in the booking room. They left some of us in the booking room and began to place us in cells. I was placed in a cell with a young woman called Miss Ivesta Simpson. After I was placed in the cell, I began to hear sounds of licks and screams. I could hear the sounds of licks and horrible screams. I could hear somebody say, "Can you say, 'Yes, sir'?" The N-word. "Can you say, 'Yes, sir'?" And they would say other horrible names. She would say, "Yes, I can say yes, sir." "So well, say it." She said, "I don't know you well enough." They beat her. I don't know how long. And after a while, she began to pray and ask God to have mercy on those people. And it wasn't too long before 3 white men came to my cell. One of these men was a state highway patrolman. He asked me where I was from. I told him Ruleville. He said, "We're going to check this." And they left my cell, and it wasn't too long before they came back. He said, "You from Ruleville? All right." And he used a curse word. And he said, "We're going to make you wish you were dead." I was carried out of the cell into another cell where they had 2 Negro prisoners. The state highway patrolman ordered the first Negro to take the blackjack. The first Negro prisoner ordered me by orders from the state highway patrolman for me to lay down on the bunk bed on my face. And I laid on my face. The first Negro began to beat me. After I was beat by the first Negro until he was exhausted, I was holding my hands behind me at the same time on my left side because I suffered from polio when I was 6 years old. After the first Negro beat me until he was exhausted, the state highway patrolman ordered the second one to take the blackjack. The second Negro began to beat, and I began to work my feet. And the state highway patrolman ordered the first Negro who had beat to sit on my feet to keep me from kicking my feet. I began to scream, and one white man got up and began to beat me in my head to tell me to hush. One white man, my dress had worked up high. He walked over and pulled my dress. I pulled my dress down, and he pulled my dress up. I was in jail when Medgar Evers was murdered. All of this on account of we want to register to become first-class citizens. And if the Freedom Democratic Party is not seated now, I question America. Is this America, the land of the free, the home of the brave, where we have to sleep with our telephones off the hooks because our lives be threatened daily because we want to live as decent human beings in America? Thank you. Fannie Lou Hamer.
That's right. She was beaten, jailed. She and a whole lot of people were beaten and jailed and killed for us to have the right to vote.
And we're going to get 17 to 20% people to vote tomorrow. And then we get people that say, "I don't know why I should vote."
Yes.
People died for you to vote.
And really in this system, we call it a democratic or a democracy. If you don't vote, you don't count. And so I just know that I'm hoping and praying that people will come out and vote. Tomorrow is Election Day, May 21st. I hope that you come out and vote and that you encourage your family and friends to, if they don't do anything else tomorrow, they go to the polls and vote. That's so important. We have to do better than 20%.
What's on the ballot tomorrow? What's on the ballot?
Well, we have a lot of things on the ballot. A lot of crucial positions. The mayor, for one thing. He's at the top of the ballot, as we all know.
And the Philadelphia Inquirer has already told you that they know the outcome to that because, you see, they didn't listen to Fannie Lou Hamer.
That's right. They just decide for us who's going to win. And I tell you the truth, I'm insulted. I know John Street is going to be here shortly. We need to ask him, if I were a candidate running for office, I would sue them. If they come out and say that somebody is the winner, Now, if they're trying to just predict, that's one thing. But for them to come out and say that somebody is the winner, that's ridiculous. We have to go to the polls and vote. So now the mayor is at the top of the ticket. The district council people are also next. We want to be sure there's so many people, there's several offices that are contested. I know in the 1st district we have at least 2 people running on the Democratic side and 1 on the Republican side. Most of the Republicans have no competition. On the 2nd district, there are also 2 candidates running. And on the 3rd district, also, we have 2 candidates running on the Democratic side. Same in the 4th. 5th, where Darrell Clark is the Democratic candidate, he has no competition. And the 6th, Bobby Heenan has no competition on the Democratic. He has Pete Smith and
here's a guy that's been indicted.
That's right, and nobody
and get with the program. He's been indicted. He has no opposition. Janie Blackwell is fighting for her life,
and she's in the 3rd district. Janie's in the 3rd district, and the 6th district is Bobby Heenan. 7 is Maria Quinones.
Good sister, good sister.
Yes, Cindy Bass in the 8th district. She has no competition. Sherelle Parker in the 9th district has no competition. In the 10th, Judy Moore is no competition. She's in the 10th district. That's wards 56, 58, 63, and 68. So we have the district council people, and these people have a lot to say. They make sure that the law, that's the legislative arm of the city. They are very important, that we select the people who are doing what they need to do for our community. Now, we've been informing you on who's doing a good job all along, so it's time for you to vote tomorrow. Now, also, we have district council at-large positions. We have a lot of district council at-large people running for office, but there's only 5 slots. So when you go in to vote for district council at-large, remember, there are only 5 slots, so you should know who you're going to support for district council at large. Also, the sheriff's office, people are running for sheriff, and there are 4 candidates there. Rochelle Belisle, Malika Rahman, Larry King, and Jewel Williams. 4 candidates are running for sheriff. And then we have the commissioner. I think we have to go to a break now, but I'll come back and talk about who's running for commissioner.
You're listening to WRD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source. You're listening to Black Women's Leadership. I'm Joanne Bell here with Emma Chappelle, and we'll be right back.
You'd think that making $1 billion profit would be enough, but 3 big out-of-state nuclear corporations want even more. They're demanding a handout and $500 million every year, paid for by hardworking Pennsylvanians like you. They call it fair compensation, but it's really just another corporate cash grab. You shouldn't pay more for your electricity to pad the profits of nuclear executives and shareholders. Text bailout to 52886 to tell legislators no nuke bailout. Paid for by Citizens Against Nuclear Bailouts.
Support independent black media and join the 4WORD movement now at 215-425-7875.
Or visit wordradio.com.
The Kimmel Center offers free arts education programs to schools across the region. Teaching artists visit classrooms to educate, engage, and inspire the next generation using creative learning experiences, and schools take trips to the Kimmel Center for live performances. The Kimmel Center is committed to educating Philadelphia's youth by providing access to quality arts. For more information, visit kimmelcenter.org.
This is Congressman Dwight Evans. We know how important it is to have leaders committed to our neighborhoods. That's why I'm backing Alan Dom. He is number 66 on the ballot, and we need to keep him on City Council fighting for us. Alan Dom is donating his salary back to our schools and is personally paying to teach computer coding and financial literacy to our children in our neighborhoods. And Alan is leading the fight to give people who have been in prison a second chance
by providing job training and reentry programs. Again, this is Dwight Evans. Please join me in voting for Alan Dom for City Council at Large, number 66 on the ballot. He's a champion for our neighborhoods.
Big ideas, big achievements. A better city for all of us. Vote Alan Dom for City Council.
Alan Dom, number 66.
Paid for by Dom for Council.
I'm supporting City Councilwoman Janie Blackwell for re-election in the 3rd District. I'm proud of the work she's done already. Here's what she's done lately. Mount Vernon Manor, Mantua Square, $1.2 million for renovations at Miles Mack Rec Center, $17 million for Lucian Blackwell Rec Center, $15 million for King Sessing Rec Center, and introduced Parking Authority Amnesty Bill to bring relief to residents with old parking ticks and much more. May 21st, push button 84 for Janie Blackwell.
I'm Janie Blackwell, and I authorize this commercial. Stanley L. Strotter, Treasurer.
Word TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now.
Tune in on YouTube at onWURD
or on Facebook at Forward.
Word TV.
Black Talk Media.
You're listening to The Source
On Word Radio.
96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
There's a light in the darkness, though the night is black as my skin. There's a light burning bright, showing me the way, but I know where I've been. There's a cry in the distance. It's a voice that comes from deep within. There's a cry asking why. I pray the answer's up ahead. Yeah, 'cause I know where I've been. There's a road we've been traveling, lost so many on the way, but the riches will be plenty. Worth the price we had to pay. There's a dream in the future. There's a struggle that we have yet to win. And there's pride in my heart, 'cause I know where I'm going. Yes, I do. And I know where I've been. Yeah. There's a road we must travel.
We're back. You're listening to Word, WRD, 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source. I'm Joanne Bell. I'm here with Emma Chappelle. And Reverend Moore has just joined us earlier than I thought, but right on time, and he's got some good information. Emma's going to finish what's on the ballot, and then we're going to come back and talk with Reverend Moore.
Okay, thanks. I mentioned earlier the mayor, Anthony Hardy Williams, is running for mayor, Alan Buckowitz, and Jim Kenney. The Republican is Billy None
of us know how to say his name.
I know. For city commissioners, there is at least 12 people running for that spot, so I'm not going to read them all. But just know that the city commissioner spot is important, and they handle the voting. They're very important. They handle the control of the voting that's going to happen tomorrow, the apparatus. For Register of Wills is Jock Wambush, Tracy Gordon, and Ronald Donatucci. Ronald Donatucci's been in there. I read in the paper just yesterday.
For 40 years. Now,
40 years.
No, this is another pet beef of mine. I've not read many articles that talked about him being there too long. Haven't read a lot of articles about, we think we need to get rid of it. Let a person of color win that office, and all of a sudden it's going to be an office that that's worthless, that we don't need, just like the sheriff's department, just like anything. Just notice that's what's going to happen next.
Well, it's quite odd that you would say that, Joanne, because I remember reading in the Inquirer them saying that the Blackwells have served that district since 1975, and we need to thank the current councilperson and get some fresh blood. Now, no one has said that about Ronald Donatucci.
That's right.
That is a double standard. So
that's right.
When is enough, and for whom is it enough?
That's right.
If it's enough for them, then it ought to also be enough for us.
And
Make it
with
equal.
so much that's going on in the Register of Wills office in terms of people losing their homes and their estates going to the wrong people and things.
And people and folks got rich in the 40 years that he had been in office.
That's
rich.
right.
Made money off of these properties and these wills and these lawyers and all of the other stuff. He didn't do it because he was altruistic. He did it because he made money for himself and his family.
That's right. Now, also, so we talked about the city commissioners and the Register of Wills, and I believe I talked about the sheriff. Now, the most important thing that we don't think about are the judges. We have a young lady, Amanda Green Hawkins, that's running for the Superior Court in Pennsylvania. We also have in the municipal court, we have a young lady, Teresa Brunson, who's running in the Superior Court. These are women that we need to think about and support. Also, there are all kinds of judges running for common pleas. And we had a forum, Joanne, and we must have had at least 20 people who are running for the Court of Common Pleas. Educate yourselves on the people who are running for judge. They make decisions on whether or not we go in the clink, as I call it.
or as I say, when you look at this at the federal level, I've noticed a pattern. Okay,
right.
So let's take Shaka Fattar. He gets 10 years. Corey Kemp gets 10 years. Seth Williams, I think, gets 10 years. And then because they got the black tax.
That's right.
And then for similar crimes, the whites get 5 years and stuff, so they get the white discount.
Or they get to stay home and have house arrest.
90 days house arrest.
Right. Or probation, or any number of things. So we really do need to start paying attention to the people that we elect as judges. And I just want to say that's such a critical area.
Well, Ms. McConnell said that if he had a choice between passing legislation and confirming a judge, he would confirm a judge.
Yeah.
And that's what at the federal level they've done for the last 30 years, and we need to focus on that because it gives you the right to interpret the law, and you see what they do. They interpret from their perspective when they are involved, but from ours.
And what they say goes. Whatever happens in their courtroom, there's nothing you can do about it. The judge is the powerhouse in that courtroom.
Right. And the Supreme Court is the court of last resort.
That's right. So I just think it's so critical that we look at these judges and make sure that we vote for the right ones. All right. So that's my call on the elections that are coming up, Joanne.
Yes, it is.
And I'll remind people there are 4 questions on the ballot. And I think I suggested we voted yes for all of them. The only one that was in question was the extra police. The police, they're putting these so-called traffic cops on the street. And I think that can be good. It can be good if it's giving jobs to Philadelphia police people, because oftentimes these police people that are in the city now, many of them are from places like Jersey and Delaware. They're not all from Philadelphia anymore. It used to be you had to live in Philadelphia to be a policeman in Philadelphia. So if you're from another state, you don't have the same commitment to making sure people are protected in an area. you may not have the same commitment to people being connected in the city of Philadelphia.
Well, you know, in so many of our communities, we are over-policed. I know in North
right.
Philadelphia, we have the Temple Police, we have the regular police,
right.
we have the PHA police, and then now we're coming with another one. So
traffic
at one
police.
point, yes. So at what point is enough enough?
And how do they work together? Because if you're living in a neighborhood like Temple, like that Temple area, and I see them, they're all, how many? It's a pile of them. They're all over the place. So now if they're going to have the traffic police in the same area, what kind of conflict is that going to be?
Well, if the residents get stopped by the Temple Police, they come down to the roundhouse, and the Temple Police get students get a little slap on the wrist, and they don't come downtown.
Is that right? All right, so that's where we are.
So, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm glad to have you here. So tell us what's on your mind. You were sharing something with us during the break.
Yes, I received a very disturbing call about 9 o'clock last night from a colleague of mine who works with, on a volunteer basis, the Youth Study Center, and had a good relationship with Deputy Commissioner Farlow, who is doing an outstanding job with young people. I took some of my colleagues over some time ago, and we were just absolutely impressed with the job that she's done. She's a strong advocate for those young people. As a matter of fact, to show you the kind of job that she's done, she reported to us, and it was confirmed by the staff, that many of the students, when they are released, will voluntarily, deliberately violate the terms of their release,
so
they could come back, because it was a place where they belonged, where they felt at home, and then you're going to either demote or force someone out like this makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, and it is another assault on black women that you and Joanne was talking about early in the hour.
And
there seems to be a pattern with this. There are women who were forced out of the airport, and we haven't yet discussed the individual women who were working in professional positions at the Philadelphia International Airport that have been forced out. And what we've said that, but I'm more interested in knowing why they are trying to force her out. Did anyone tell you why?
No. She's doing positive things to help young
she's
people?
absolutely doing a good job, and I'm sure that probably they have somebody else in mind to go there.
That's
but
what it is.
we're going to
probably somebody that's going to treat the kids in a
Who
more
does she
difficult
report
manner.
to? Do you know?
I'm not sure who a report person is. So,
What I have noticed, and we can delve into this a little bit more when we come back on Wednesday, we'll find out a little bit more about this. But what has happened is that there is an overabundance of people who were on that transition team that ended up in the administration. And there were not people of color, and there were not women of color that's running social service programming. You're listening to WURD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source, and we'll be right back.
What up, Philly? It's Solomon Jones, host of Wake Up with Word, and we are back, and we still black, doing what we do on WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Black Talk Media.
I'm back by popular demand.
This is Marion Tasco asking you to vote Green first on May 21st. In his first term, Derek Green has worked hard to create opportunities for all Philadelphians, and he will continue to fight for our economy and our schools. Derek Green has the experience, leadership, and vision to move Philadelphia forward. Join me in pushing button 78 on May 21st to re-elect Councilmember Derek Green.
Paid for by the Green Fund.
I'm Democrat Jamie Gaudier, and I'm running for City Council in the 3rd District. Growing up in Kingsessing, I learned the importance of community. I founded a program to help single moms graduate college, served as executive director of the Fairmount Park Conservancy, and created jobs and affordable housing programs. I'm Democrat Jamie Gaudier, and on City Council, I will battle gentrification and improve our schools. It's time for new leadership in West and Southwest Philly.
Paid for by Jamie for West Philly.
Hi, I'm Thera Martin for Democratic City Council at Large candidate Bobby Curry, a diehard WURD listener and forward member. Democrats in Philadelphia are coming together for change, and Bobby Curry says change starts with him. Bobby Curry opposes tax abatements, soda taxes, and cigarette taxes. He believes in fairness in school funding, youth job programs year-round, affordable housing, and a basic discount system on real estate and employment taxes for low-income senior citizens. May 21st, vote for change and push button number 70 for Bobby Curry.
This is Bobby Curry, and I approve this message.
What's up, everyone? I know you know the word. No, not the station, but the word. J-O-B, that is. And our friends at Amoroso's Baking Company are hiring right now. Amoroso's has been baking the delicious breads in our community for over 100 years, and they want you to join their team today. The old and the young love Amoroso's, and they're hiring right now. Check it out. They offer fair pay and provide health, dental, and prescription plans after 90 days of employment. Call Scott Drummond at 856-754-0360 or visit amorosos.com for details.
Keeping you informed about Tuesday's election. This is Word Radio, 96.1 FM WURD and 900 AM WURD, Philadelphia. Independent Black Media.
When you feel you're taking all that you can take, and you're sure you're never gonna catch a break, and the tears of rivers running down your face, yeah. When your faith is low and you got no strength left, when you think you're gone as far as you can get, and you turn run down and take another step. Oh, I will take up the struggle. Oh, I know it's a fight. So I'll fight that war for you. I'll fight, stand and defend you. Take your side. That's what I'm here to do. I'll be there to be strong. Oh, I keep on.
We're back. You're listening to WURD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source. You're listening to Black Women's Leadership. Tomorrow is Election Day, May 21st. Vote, vote, vote. Get out and vote. I read to you the story of Fannie Lou Hamer. People died for your right to vote. We owe our ancestors the respect that they sacrificed for us to do that. To sit home, to quote Michael Cord's article in the paper, is to be disrespectful to our ancestors.
That's right.
It's treasonous to our ancestors. They expect you not to show up tomorrow. They have given you the results before you ever went to the polls. Is that going to stand?
And we have to turn that around and make a liar out of them, and show that black people can come out and vote, and they will come out and vote.
We're going to go to line one, Dave.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Ladies.
Good morning.
Yes. Hey, I want you, before you go off the air, to be explicit and be direct about the common pleas choices that you think would be, good for our judges. I think that's the most important thing on that whole ballot.
We will.
We will.
Yes, I do. Before you go, and also, on those ballot questions.
Yes.
I could tell you why I feel that we should be voting no on all of them, and I think it's like the first one, for what you're going to call the council person.
Yes.
That's I don't know.
Yeah.
And then next to that, for office on immigration.
Yes.
Maybe this sends us out to left field if we vote yes. We have somebody in office that we don't have any control over. And for the wage thing, you know, by the time 2025 comes here, $15 an hour won't mean anything because they won't probably even put it in force until then.
That's right. That's when it does come in force in 2025. That's when it is effective.
Yes.
And they talk about it like somebody got $15 an hour right away.
Yeah, on the last thing, like the SEPTA, you know, on that decision, you know, for to have a private, you know, police department, you know, come in and that just adds another problem to the situation. And, you know, I think this refers back to the decision they just made with SEPTA, you know, receiving, you know, an award that they went back off strike because they didn't have to do anything, you know, show their cameras or whatever happened in that case. This is going to come back and bite us because they're going to pass the same thing over to the regular police department, and then we're going to be in very big trouble.
Yeah.
So I think all of them should have a no.
Okay.
They're not as important as a lot of other issues like housing and stuff like that, which should actually be valid questions. And please, common pleas court judges, you know, I really do need something I can write down so I can go in the booth so I know exactly where I'm going. And
we'll give them to you about 12 o'clock today.
Thank you. And
Okay.
hello to Philly Green Man of Boulder Hagen, number 58. Thank you very much.
All righty.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
So, Reverend Moore, so tell us about the black clergy and their choices.
Well, I think what we attempted to do this year was to talk with the community. We had about 40 or 50 clergy from across the lines, and we talked
That's
with
great.
the community, engaged the community, and came up with a platform. And we engaged the candidates on these platforms to take personality out of it. And we feel that we had a good process. This was the first time we did it. We recognized that there were some flaws in it. But the wonderful thing is the relationship that we have formed with the Coalition of Black Women, and really started a conversation and a relationship that's going to bear fruit long term. We're not going to go away. We're going to meet and debrief to look at where the gaps were, where the flaws were. We're going to correct those, but we're also going to meet on a fairly consistent basis because the issues that we are facing will not go away on tomorrow.
No,
Wednesday.
it's
They
true.
will not go away, and we will have to continue to work together, and we will work together. It is a time of accountability, and I think that this is a Burger King moment. We're really saying to those who give money, those who continue to elect their successors, and simply because of money, simply because you control positions, we're saying that no longer are you going to have it your way. We're going to have our say in what is going on, and already we're talking about making sure that we have a presence at council. We're watching the agenda, and anything that adversely affects us, we do a plan to be there. We plan to address it, and so we're going to grow the coalition, and we have to learn to work together. And where we have differences, we will respect those differences, but where we are together, we are much stronger together. And again, I would say that it would be dishonoring to those who died and gave their life that we might have the right to vote. It sickens me to the core, and I'm so glad that Reverend Broadnax, President of Black Clergy, Philadelphia vicinity, basically said, I don't want you to talk about money. If you got to take money to get people to the polls, if you got to pay people to use your vehicle to take money to the polls, that is, we know people love, people got to have money. But there's some things that you ought to be willing to make a sacrifice for. I like this picture that Alex Haler put over behind his desk in his office. It was the picture of a turtle that was sitting on top of a fence, and someone asked him why did he have this picture behind his office with this turtle sitting at the top of the fence, and Alex Haler said, "I keep it there to remind myself that I didn't get here by myself." And I think we ought to remind ourselves that we're not able to sit behind microphones like this, coming to a station that's run by an African American. We didn't get here by ourselves. We are on the backs of those who have made tremendous sacrifices. And we've got to do like Robert Smith did to those 400 youngsters, young men.
Can we give that an amen again?
An amen.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
Now that's what you do when you are in the position to do it.
Right. And $40 million, paying it forward. And one of the young men that they interviewed came from a family of 9. 6 of them are in college, and one would be going next year. He had $47,000 in student debt, and he was figuring out how he could go to Plan B in his plan to move forward in life. He had planned to spend the first year paying off that $47,000. So now he will be able to go to Plan B in his next plan. And what they've instilled into them is not only paying forward, but paying backwards. If you go through a fast food chain window, you got a $20 bill in your pocket, so take it for the guy that's behind me. So that we got to pay forward and we've got to pay backwards.
That's true.
And if we got money, we've got to use it for our people, so that we don't have any more African Americans for sale. That day is over.
That's it.
And that's why it's so dangerous when we're in this city and people shrug their shoulders when we can't do business in the city. We can't build big businesses that can do that. We can't build a Robert Smith in Philadelphia because when we do, they get knocked down.
Every time.
And then what they make us do is fight and club each other over 10%.
Right.
Instead of looking at the larger pie.
Why not all of it? Why do we always have to get bits and pieces? You know, 44% of the population of this city. Why is it that we always have to get bits and pieces? We've got to build capacity for our business people so that they can do all of the job, and then other folks can be the 10% or the 15%. We need to be all of it.
And I've always had this hang up, you know, we elect people to office and they couldn't get there without our vote. But it seems that our vote doesn't come as important as the dollars they got, because they end up catering to people who put money in their coffers, as opposed to catering to the community that voted them into office.
Well, we're going to be watching who takes the money and what they do with the money. Now, you know, I say what I want to say. We have Alan Dom, and with all due respect, with all of the money that he has spent in advertisement, and he's advertised with a great many African Americans in his commercials. Reverend Moore, does he have any black people who work in his office?
We interviewed Alan Dom about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And one of the questions that we asked him was, how many African Americans do you have on your staff?
Right.
He talked about, I think, someone from an Indian person, a white person, but there was not one black person that he had on his staff. Not one.
Not one.
And Reverend Avenger, who was on your show a few weeks ago.
And he did a wonderful job.
He said, do you mean to tell me that you cannot find one qualified African Americans? Now you find a ton of them, you know, to be to take a picture with,
yes,
but not one you can give a paycheck with. So it's not only who is taking the money, but we also have to monitor who's giving the money.
Right.
Because whenever people give you a whole lot of money, you know that there is an underlying motive that's not about right now, but it's down the road.
That's
so
right.
This election is not about right now. It's also about 2020. So we've got to look beyond 21. We got to look to 2020.
Yeah.
And we've got to be together. And people who are not working in our best interest, then we're going to have to give them some walking papers.
So we have Congressman Dwight Evans, who I have heard advertise on the station endorsing Alan Dom. And a lot of us have problems with the gentrification that's taken place in the city.
Absolutely.
This is a developer, a realtor, and a person who has been a part of this 10-year tax abatement that's driving the costs, driving people out of their homes. And so I asked myself, why would you lend your voice, an important voice, to the re-election of Alan Dom? I don't see him making commercials for Green or some of the others that are on the that are running on city council. You know, I don't see that. So I asked myself, well, why are you doing it? Well, Alan Dom is wealthy.
Yes.
And he can be a contributor to Dwight's campaign. And Dwight has to raise money because he wants to go up the leadership in Washington. So he's cultivating his millionaire-billionaire so that he can raise money for him. Now, people might say that that's a good trade-off. I don't think so. And I think we ought to call it what it is, because we're going to keep calling it what it is. I think he needs to address it, because we're going to keep watching it. It's not going to be the games that you played 10, 20 years ago where we cultivate all of these rich people, no matter what they do, as long as they're giving to our campaigns.
Right. And I don't think we ought to take any money from anybody that you cannot be free.
That's right.
That you cannot speak what you say. When we look at what is going on, as you said, in our communities, in North Philadelphia, it is absolutely development going wild.
Yes, it's out of control.
And I would challenge anyone right now, even as I speak, who is listening, if you would just take 15 to 20 minutes and drive through North Central Philadelphia.
Absolutely.
Look at the people who are working on these jobs. I dare say that out of all of the development that's going on in North Central Philadelphia right now as I speak, from Brewery Town, from river to river, from north of Broad all the way up to Lehigh, if you can find 10 African Americans that are working on a job, you would find 100. I mean, you can go out there and look at it right now and see who's doing it. And these homes are selling right outside of the door of my church, 1 block from my church, for $340,000 to $50,000, and they are not like people that sit in front of me on Sunday morning at 10th Memorial. No. They're not like it. They're not going to be able.
They're moving those people out of the community.
They're moving them out. So
any way they can.
Other
they have
people
to take the house or run up the taxes or depreciate it.
Right. They get the house, but our people get the tax bill. I mean, I've had more than one member come into my office and say, Pastor, my taxes have gone up.
Right.
Got the same house. My taxes have gone up. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
I say, stay in your house. And I'm also challenging them to, if you don't like the way your property is being evaluated, then you challenge it. That's what I encourage our people to do. Challenge the way your taxes have been.
Challenge.
That's right. Challenge it.
So we're going to go to line 3, Mary.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Mary.
I want to say that we have had on the books in Philadelphia County for over, I would say, 40 years, an illegal tax, and it's the reciprocal city wage tax, where we're taxed more for working on the job because we live and work in Philadelphia. You have people from other counties in Pennsylvania that pay less taxes than we do in Philadelphia with the same job. You have people in other states like New Jersey who do not pay the same for a job that they have in Philadelphia and the state of Pennsylvania. You know, these people are going home with a 10%, I would say more than 10% now, pay increase with the same job that we have been doing in this city. And it has to stop because we are missing out on trillions of dollars. And it always bothered me. I tried to fight this. I notified Josh Shapiro once I retired from the state of Pennsylvania. I worked for them for like 45 years, letting them know that this was discriminatory. I notified Mayor Kenny on WURD, on Charles' show, and he stated that this happened 40-something years ago. It stated before it happened before he even got elected in office. Like he's not going to make a change.
Right.
This is why we're the poorest city, big city in this country, because we're being cheated out of trillions of dollars. This is why he's getting people from other states to work here. They're going home with I would say $1,000 pay increase with the same job that you're sitting doing the same thing. This has to stop. It's illegal, and the only way that we can do to make a change is to vote Mayor Kenny out, because I've already discussed it with Williams, and he's willing to look at this and make a change regarding this. And if we don't have city council members that are not willing to stop this illegal reciprocal city wage tax, that we're the only city that has this. Who are we reciprocating with? No other city has this.
That's a good point.
You know, it's crazy.
Yes.
Where you know that you have an illegal tax on the books, but you're willing to give this money to basically white people that they have been hiring for these construction jobs, these police officer jobs that do not live in the city.
Right.
The fire commissioner, Kenny got him from another state because it was a friend of his. And it bothered me because we had a black police commissioner, a fire commissioner.
Fire commissioner, yeah.
You know, so we have to look at this. These people are racist. And if they're not doing anything to benefit you, the Allen Doms, the Kennys, or anybody else, money should not be a thing where we have people that are elected in these positions backing these people, knowing that they are cheating. People of the same working hard-class people that's been in this city for decades and allowing their properties to be taken away from them based on illegal taxes that Kenny is okay with. People, wake up, make sure that you go out and vote tomorrow, and make sure you vote your interest, because these people are not looking out for you. And the white people that are working in this city, they're not looking out for you either, because you're paying more taxes than the construction people that's working in this city, and the police officers. Wake up.
Thank you, Mary. Listen, you make so many good points. I want to say something about the wage tax, and I don't know how far it goes back. It could have been more than 25 years, where you're absolutely correct that they have a two-tier wage system. And allegedly it was about if you live, let's say hypothetically, in Montgomery County, but you worked in Philadelphia, then you didn't get charged the city rate of the people who live in the city, because you allegedly you're also paying taxes in the county that you live in.
Right.
But you enjoy the benefits of working in Philadelphia, the security that comes with that, and so that's the price that you have to pay. If you are a Philadelphian, and Emma, you know a little bit about this, when you were working in another state, you had to pay you had to pay that state's tax.
That's right.
And you had to pay the full Philadelphia wage tax.
I did. I paid
and
both.
So you paid both. So so going back and forth, I mean, it's a legitimate concern, Mary. And so I agree with you. Let's go to line 2, Jim.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
I concur with all that's been said thus far. I think Dom is an insult to all black intelligent people, and for black Congress people to play the silly game that he's playing. I think it's utterly ridiculous. And that's the part about my congressperson I don't like, because he continually plays the same silly games and expect a different result.
And he doesn't think, Jim, he doesn't think that we can see through that. He doesn't think that we can see through it.
Somebody. Ray Charles can see a lot of crap. I've been looking at it for 50 years or more. So you're talking about the things that happened on these job sites in North Philly?
Yes.
I've been out there for over 50 years, and nothing has changed. And no one is talking about the bills of the contractors changing, putting some black folks on them jobs. Everybody talks about it. What can I do about it? They give me money. Yeah, big deal. Is that the basis of everything? Money? I mean, come on. We got to wake up to the reality of some of these things ourselves. And as much as I like Hopkins, for him to associate himself with Dom, I think that's pretty dumb.
You said Hopkins? Who's Hopkins?
Bernard.
Oh, Bernard
Hopkins. Oh, I see Bernard Hopkins. Yeah. Well, he probably doesn't know that he just made a friend and decided that he's going to support him.
Well, you know, these two calls are not isolated calls. I think that, you know, people are waking up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm finding the more we talk to people, the more they're focusing in on the issues. And I think it is a brand new day in Philadelphia. And people are not going to get away, our political leaders are not going to get away with a lot of things they used to get away with. There's going to be a lot more accountability. And people are much smarter than we think they are.
That's right.
Just like this gentleman saw it, a whole lot of other people.
Even Mary before him. She spelled out a lot of good information.
It is. So we're going to take a break. You're listening to WURD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source. You're listening to Black Women's Leadership. I'm Joanne Bell, here with Emma Chappelle and Reverend Bill Moore, and we'll be right back.
Brothers and sisters!
Don't miss The Source.
Weekdays, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
on Word Radio.
WordRadio.com and the Word Radio app.
This is Word Radio.
Independent Black Media.
The Kimmel Center for the Performing Arts is excited to present the next installment of their Jazz Residency collaboration for 2019. In its 6th year, the Kimmel's Jazz Residency program is designed for groups of local artists to create their amazing personal stories through the jazz music genre. Performing in the Kimmel's SEI Innovation Studio Thursday, June 6th will be trombonist Dan Blacksburg with percussionist Joseph Goldman. Friday, June 7th will feature the amazing sounds of guitarist David Allen, poet laureate Raquel Salas Rivera, and violinist Diana Monroe. And June 8th, the soulful Latin American composer Dario Peñazek, lyricist Maya Peñazek, and singer Ariacine Trujillo. Tickets on sale now for these special BYO events. Visit kimmelcenter.org or call 215-893-1999.
I'm Democrat Jamie Gaudier, and I'm running for City Council in the 3rd District. Growing up in Kingsessing, I learned the importance of community. I founded a program to help single moms graduate college, served as executive director of the Fairmount Park Conservancy, and created jobs and affordable housing programs. I'm Democrat Jamie Gaudier, and on City Council, I will battle gentrification and improve our schools. It's time for new leadership in West and Southwest Philly.
Paid for by Jamie for West Philly.
I'm supporting City Councilwoman Janie Blackwell for re-election in the 3rd District. I'm proud of the work she's done already. Here's what she's done lately. Mount Vernon Manor, Mantua Square, $1.2 million for renovations at Miles Mack Rec Center, $17 million for Lucian Blackwell Rec Center, $15 million for Kingsessing Rec Center, and introduced Parking Authority Amnesty Bill to bring relief to residents with old parking tickets and much more. May 21st, push button 84 for Janie Blackwell.
I'm Janie Blackwell, and I authorize this commercial. Stanley L. Strotter, Treasurer.
I was born and raised in Point Breeze, South Philadelphia. I'm Kenyatta Johnson. I have 2 sons, and they're the joy of my life. I want safe and strong neighborhoods where we all can live. I want to make sure we have development without displacement. Being a dad challenged me to step up to the plate even more. Back in '98, several of my friends were murdered. That's not organized the First Peace Not Guns rally. As your councilman, I have fought for gun violence prevention programs to raise the minimum wage and expand early childhood education.
Kenyatta Johnson, endorsed by the Philadelphia Inquirer, who said he's the better pick for the 2nd District.
There are 15 different neighborhoods in the district, and I fight for all of them. This Tuesday, May 21st, I ask you to vote Kenyatta Johnson for City Council. Paid for and authorized by citizens for Kenyatta Johnson. From here, for here.
Word TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now.
Tune in on YouTube at onWURD
Or on Facebook at ForWord.
Word TV.
Black Talk Media.
You're listening to The Source
on Word Radio.
96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
We're back. You're listening to WRD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source, Black Women's Leadership, and we're going to go right to the lines. We're going to go to line 1, Joanne.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, I am so glad to hear somebody talking about Alan Dunn and White Evans.
Yes.
And I'm just so sick of so many of our politicians. I am not voting for too many of them. I'm not voting for Alan Dunn because if you ever gotten the Sunday paper, you would find out that he's always had, up until he started running for this election, he's always had about 4 pages in the real estate.
Yeah, in the real estate.
He's a very wealthy.
Where he's selling all those
$6 million properties.
That's right, selling expensive properties.
Anyway, and what bugs me is he's giving away the salaries. It just shows you that he doesn't need it. And for another alternative, now, he's always dealt with skyscrapers and so forth, and they are building 4-story units and more in the neighborhoods where there are 2-story houses. Now, you know we have a terrible time parking as it is.
Right.
And if you don't get anything else, you're going to have a harder time parking.
Right.
Now, Dwight Evans, it just broke my heart when I heard him speak of it. And he won't rescind his advertisement. And I was told that he was the cause of the black lady with the Board of Education that died. He was the cause of her losing her contract years ago. Oh, yeah.
Arlene Ackerman, Dr.
Yeah.
Ackerman.
Yeah, I think that is her name.
Mm-hmm. And she was doing a great job.
Yeah, it's just so much going on with our people, including Janie Blackwell. I won't vote for her no more after selling that place down 46th and Market.
But, she's done so much more. She did the 46th and Market Street. I was in those meetings. But there's so much that she has done for that community in West Philly.
Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. That. Sometimes, we change out something
for one thing.
For because they want you to attack her. And then, and I have nothing against her opponent. But sometimes we don't, it's consistent with what we're saying. Sometimes people don't know that they're being used. And we have to be careful with that. There may be an exit strategy, but that's not the choice today. Right. That may be a strategy for the next time. My mother used to have a saying, don't cut off your nose to spite your face.
Right.
Be very careful with that.
Yes.
Yeah, let's stay on the issue and not personality.
Yes.
Stay on the issue and look at the broader issue.
But Joanne, thank you, and we're going to go to line 3, Rochelle.
Good morning, ladies. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to just go through a little bit of the number 4 question.
Okay. That's the police, right?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Rochelle Bilal, so you know
we know you know.
And let me say this: I am no way in favor of over policing in our city.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you why I'm saying yes to number 4.
Okay.
Here's the reason. It's nothing new in cities across the city. It's nothing new by having traffic individuals to be in areas where they are deployed and needed to basically control traffic and not use actual police to do that, because they can be in the different communities doing what they need to do, keeping our people safe.
Mm-hmm.
But it also brings jobs to the city. It also hires more of us and a diverse group of people, because there's a lot of people that can't get on the police force that wants to do something in that area. And for those that can't get on the police force, they can become the traffic people. They're not police. They don't have guns. They won't have arrest powers. You know what they'll be training in? Patterns on how to direct cars and bikes and trucks in areas where it's congested.
Yes, we talked about that. We understood that part of it. What we're talking about is where there couldn't be conflicts with so much. We said that it could create jobs for Philadelphians. We understand that. And I just think that also, we have the Temple Police. We got all these police all over the place.
Police.
And the housing, housing, what is it, PHA police? You got police and more police. But I'm not saying don't vote for it.
Powers and guns. Those are police. These are not police.
Rochelle, I see where you're coming from, because in New York City they have the same kind of force, and they use them in congested areas to get the traffic moving, and which works pretty well in New York City. And so my concerns are just slightly different. I want to make sure that when we have the opportunities that we are hiring from within our own communities,
right,
and that these jobs are not, again, jobs that are open to those who live outside the city,
yes,
and who are not, we're not empowering people within the city, and that would be where I am. But I do understand what you're saying, because I've seen it in practical application, and it does appear to work. Okay, thank you, Rochelle. We're going to go to what, line 4? Line 4, Joe.
Yes. Hi, Miss Bell. Hi, Miss Bell, Miss Chappelle, Miss Rita.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing. I love y'all. I look forward to y'all show every day, Monday, Wednesday, whenever I'm on. I look forward.
Thank you.
Let me say this before I talk about Alan Dunn. I respectfully disagree with y'all on Miss Blackwell's point. And don't get me wrong, I love Janie Blackwell, but I think Jamie Gaudier is the right person to replace Miss Blackwell, because, sometimes change is good. And I think she's bringing some new, fresh ideas. She's dedicated, sister, and I think she'll do a good job in the 3rd District in Westwood. I represent that area out there. So I'm supporting Janie Gaudier. And again, nothing against Janie. She's a good woman. Miss Blackwell's a good woman. I just think Miss Gaudier is the right person for this job at the time. But now,
okay, that's your opinion. All right. We respect your opinion.
Thank you, Ms. Chappelle. I love Miss Blackwell, but I just think Janie Gaudier would be a good replacement. And I'll move on to Alan Dunn. I agree with Mr. Jim and Miss Mary. I get so tired of our people, and I'm glad y'all not afraid to call out names. I get tired of our people, sucking up the Dwayne and that nonsense that he does. Alan Dunn is a disgrace in this life, and he's a disgrace in the next life. And Bernard Hopkins, I love Bernard as a brother in the boxer, but he should be ashamed of letting himself be used as a prop. Like you said, like Reverend Moore said, if he can hire black people to be props in his commercials, you may tell him you can't find a qualified black man or woman to work on your staff, and that stuff about him giving away his salary. He's part of that 1%. Actually, Alan Dunn benefits by giving away his salary. He's not losing nothing.
You're absolutely right. That's right. Say it again.
Say it. So this nonsense about
tax write-off.
I mean,
that's his tax write-off. And not even a tax write-off. He got so much money.
Exactly.
It don't even matter.
And I close with this, Miss Chappelle, Miss Bell, Miss Rita, and Reverend Moore. Black folks got to stop letting themselves be used by these Caucasians like that, man. It's not about being racially hatred, because I've got white friends, black friends, but it's not the point. Stop letting yourself be used by these people, man. These people don't have your interests at heart. And like Miss Mary said about Mayor Kinney, I was mad with Mayor Kinney, too, because I know plenty of my friends as firefighters. My friends I went to high school with and stuff. They was upset when he got rid of that brother that was the fire commissioner. I think I forgot the name, Derek Sawyer. He was a good brother. He was doing a good job. And for him to come in here and put one of his white friends and give him that was an insult. And
that has happened in many instances. That's happened in a number of instances.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. Well, thank you, ladies, for your time and forevermore. Y'all keep it good. You know, I love the United Bank, Ms. Chappelle.
Thank you.
Well, I love the bank. I got stock in the bank. I love it. I will support it to the day I die.
Well, that's wonderful.
All right.
Thank you, Joe. We're going to go to line 2, George.
Good afternoon, ladies, and Reverend Moore. How are you doing today?
Good afternoon.
All right, good afternoon.
Rev, you hit it point blank on the head, but the architect of this whole gentrification thing, you forgot to mention the architect's name, and that's John Street. Remember when John Street was mayor, that he came along with the NTI, Neighborhood Transformation Reform, and he said this here is for developers. You know, we're going to move out the blight so that developers can come in and build. He knew right then what it was, that he was bringing this in, clearing the way for 10 years down the stretch, that these developers can come in here from New York, Washington, D.C., and all these other high-rent districts and rebuild. That's what that whole thing was. Part 2 about John Street, the architect of all these problems we have now. When he left office, the part everybody's forgetting that when he was council president, he had idiots in there to vote for to transfer power to the mayor, which was Rendell, in his last term. He knew he was going to become mayor. He made it so that he didn't have to answer to council for anything. He just ramrodded stuff through, and it didn't matter because, why? They gave the power to him. So all these problems we have now with gentrification, all this stuff of moving out these jobs, these contracts, whereas though the mayor has the say-so to do as he please. Look at how many contracts has been lost, a lot of stuff going on. But then you go to
George, what about the current mayor?
That's right.
What about the current mayor, George? George,
What about he could stop some of this
George,
stuff.
what about the current mayor? Because I can't play this bait and switch with you today. I'm not going to play the John Street game. Look over here. It was John Street. We are talking about what is happening now.
And
we're
in
talking
the last
about
4
what is
years.
happening now.
That's right.
And listen, I know who you are. I know who you work for. And I know what the story is. And I ain't in the mood for it today. Line 1. Mark.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Reverend Moore.
Good morning.
I just wanted to speak on the traffic cops question number 4.
Okay.
Okay. Well, they're going to have traffic cops coming in for the congestion of traffic and everything.
Right.
But to me, that's going to be a prelude to us having to pay a toll in congested areas like they do in New York. So I'm voting no on that question. I'm just letting you guys know that. And another thing for the people that are running for office.
Yes.
You just have to look at the backgrounds and see who's getting paid by these developers that are gentrifying our neighborhoods. That are really gentrifying our neighborhoods and causing our taxes to raise. We're getting 2, assessments a year when we used to get 1. So you look at the background of some of these candidates and see who's getting paid by the developers. And that's all I have to say right now on that. So you people have a lovely day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Line 3, Peaches. Oh, we're going to go to break. Okay. I'm getting a break signal. You're listening to WRD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source, Black Women's Leadership, and we'll be right back.
Vital Signs, Wednesdays on Reality Check with Charles Ellison, 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. right here on onWURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Streaming live on WordRadio.com.
What's cheesy, topped with a fluffy egg and crisp applewood smoked bacon? Easy. McDonald's new $2 breakfast deal. For a limited time, get a flaky bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit for just $2. And if you're craving something savory and sweet, get a delicious bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles for the same price. Hurry in and bite into this tasty deal any day of the week. Only at McDonald's. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal for a limited time only.
Be heard.
Be heard.
Want another way to join the conversation?
Follow us on social media
Using the hashtag onWURD.
Be heard.
Stay connected to Word Radio.
Independent Black Media.
Hi, I'm Thera Martin for Democratic City Council at Large candidate Bobby Curry, a die-hard WURD listener and forward member. Democrats in Philadelphia are coming together for change, and Bobby Curry says change starts with him. Bobby Curry opposes tax abatements, soda taxes, and cigarette taxes. He believes in fairness in school funding, youth job programs year-round, affordable housing, and a basic discount system on real estate and employment taxes for low-income senior citizens. May 21st, vote for change and push button number 70 for Bobby Curry.
This is Bobby Curry, and I approve this message.
Hi, this is John.
Hi, this is Juanita, owners of JD's Auto Body and Painting. We're located at 6300 Wayne Avenue, right there at the intersection of Wayne and Washington Lane.
We really like to thank all you Word listeners for the support that you've given our business, and we really hope to see you in the future.
JD, tell them about our products and services we have.
We have a new state-of-the-art paint shop along with our body shop and detail shop. We can help you with the dents and scratches from the winter season.
Come to JD's Auto Body and Painting. Come on out and check us out. We're still honoring that Word 10% discount. Give us a call, 215-848-5949. Again, 215-848-5949.
Thanks again for supporting our business. We really appreciate you.
See you at JD's Auto Body and Painting.
Word TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now.
Tune in on YouTube at onWURD
Or on Facebook at Forward.
Word TV.
Black Talk Media.
You're listening to The Source
On Word Radio.
96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Moment I wake up, before I put on my makeup, I say a little prayer for you. And while combing my hair now, and wondering what dress to wear now, I say a little prayer for you. Forever and forever, you stay in my heart, and I will love you forever and ever. I just take time, and all through my coffee break time, I say a little prayer for you. Forever and ever, you stay in my heart, and I will love you forever and ever. How I love you together. That's how it must be to live without you. Would only mean heartbreak for me.
We're back. You're listening to 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to Word, WRD. You're listening to The Source. You're listening to Black Women's Leadership. And we have been joined by former Mayor John Street.
Amen.
Let's see. It's still morning. Good morning,
Good
Mayor.
morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's a great day.
Yes, it is.
Well, Mayor, we wanted to talk to you. We have an election tomorrow, and which is very important. But we really wanted to hear about your lawsuit, and we wanted you to talk to the audience about that, and we wanted to ask you some questions. And I know you can just take it right from here.
Well, thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be here with all of you today, especially, of course, Reverend Moore, who has been a dear friend and a stellar representative of the community, just like the two of you. And to be here at this time in this setting, it's very special because there are some of us who have been around for a while.
Yes.
And one of the problems that we have in our community is not enough people have a real appreciation for our history, and I blame us for some of that. but not all of it, but some of it. And so I do think we need to spend a little bit more time after tomorrow and in the future trying to connect a lot of, especially the young people, to the stuff that have gone on, so that they can be better prepared to deal with the stuff that they are going on, that's happening to us, them, and our city. So as most of you know, I am an avid supporter of Williams for mayor, and I've been a part of his technical assistance group, a person who was working with him on all of the issues. And he said to Brett Mandel and me, I need to know more about the assessments and these issues. And it was in that context that I went to work, and we started looking at them, and what we found was appalling.
Oh.
It was appalling, and I'll go from the back, the conclusion, and then work forward, and I'll try to do it in just a few minutes so people don't get bored. But so we found out that there were about $2.4 billion, not billion dollars in the current 5-year plan, real estate taxes, just raised by assessment increases that never went to city council.
Oh.
How could that happen? Well, it happened in part because a few years ago, under one of my least favorite mayors, the responsibility of determining assessed value of property went from the Board of Revision of Taxes to the Finance Department. And so now we have the mayor, his finance director, and the director of the Office of Property Assessment. They basically
make the decisions.
They determine the value of all the properties. Instead of just doing a reassessment and getting it right and then changing the rate and then annually doing the reassessments, they decide, well, we're going to pick and choose who pays taxes. And so the bottom line is that there could be as many as 200,000 residential properties that are overassessed, which means they're paying too much taxes, and then there are some that are underassessed. Our analysis suggests that people in communities like Chestnut Hill and around Center City and all, they're the properties most likely to be underassessed, and the ones that are likely to be overassessed are in all of these neighborhoods, most of which
North Philly and West Philly and
are
like
subjects
that.
of gentrification.
Right.
So I filed a lawsuit that basically says these reassessments that you are doing have to get thrown out. You basically have to reassess all the properties. You have to reduce the assessment on those that are overassessed. The ones that are underassessed, you raise the assessments, and then it's even, and then you start figuring out what rate you want to oppose to get your real estate tax bills. The response of the administration has been, oh, it is just a political trick. Oh, it's nothing to it. You know, it's just sad that a former mayor would go to these lengths. It's a baseless, frivolous lawsuit. Well, when City Council did a study of the same issue, it reached the same conclusions. When the Inquirer did a study of the same issue, it raised similar conclusions. And then they say this, and it's appalling. They say, oh, this shouldn't be a class action lawsuit, because I filed a class action lawsuit. My client has lived in this house for 47 years, and then just got a 61% increase in his taxes. So they said, oh, you have a right to appeal. Just take an appeal. So 300,000 residential real estate property owners are going to individually file an appeal. And you know what happens when they file an appeal? The taxpayer comes in, and then on the other side of the issue is a lawyer, a professional assessor, and a consultant. So you, the taxpayer, have to go up with them. And the city says, you have the burden of proof to prove that your assessment is too high. How many people can do that individually? They're working, they're doing all kinds of stuff. So my response is, okay, you don't think we should have a class action suit to do this? Then we'll just get 50,000 people to file appeals. That will be our only choice. This cannot be allowed to stand. This can't go away, because people are being taxed out of their neighborhoods, and it's not even like it matters to their district council president.
I was going to ask you, why isn't council stopping
They
it?
are. They can't. There's nothing under the law that stops city council from What happened was, when they took the assessment functions from the Board of Revision of Taxes, the members of which are appointed by the Board of Judges, when they took it from the Board of Revision of Taxes and gave it to the mayor, now the mayor is responsible for doing assessments. And he and his buddies are in the back room figuring out how high our taxes are going to go, and they're picking who pays. Just recently,
they're picking winners and losers in this process.
And losers in that whole process.
And let me tell you one other thing they're doing. If they had said that you could work out a plan to pay the taxes, well, they're also picking and choosing who can pay by a plan.
Well,
They'll say, we're not giving you a plan. You have to pay the whole amount.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Why should I have to enter into a plan to pay taxes that I shouldn't have been charged
in the first place? That's exactly right.
And so I'm not thrilled with the idea that even if they said, oh, we'll give you a plan, well, I shouldn't have got this tax bill in the first place.
Right.
So we're asking your court, we think people who are over-taxed should get a refund. Right now, you can't retroactively tax people who are under-taxed. I get that. But those of us who are over-taxed, why should we be stuck with paying this tax? And the uniformity clause of the Pennsylvania State Constitution and a number of other local ordinances all require that the taxes be uniform, and that you can't. It's called spot assessments when you just go out and you just get this group of taxpayers or that group of taxpayers, and that's what they're doing. So we'll go out tomorrow, we'll elect a city council, and if somehow the mayor gets renominated, then what he can do is just basically say, okay, city council, well, it'd be nice if I had your support, but I don't really need it.
I don't need it.
It's terrible.
That's terrible.
And I think it is a perversion of the democratic process. I think that assessments should be within some reasonable limit. In 1981, the City Council of Philadelphia filed a lawsuit similar to the one that I have filed. It's called Coleman versus Green, and we got caps put on the amount of real estate tax increases you can get from assessments and a number of other things. Now, this is not a simple issue. Their mass assessments of real estate is complicated. But these people have decided, oh, well, we'll get to it maybe one day, sometime in the by and by. Meantime, the law that requires that we go to 100%, it's the AVI thing that you have been hearing about. I think that was passed in 2009. It's now 2019. It's 10 years later, and they're still messing around with it. And if we don't do something about it, it will result in the displacement of many, many people from these neighborhoods. It's bad enough.
Further displacement.
Further displacement. It's bad enough that the market, the natural forces of the marketplace are going to have that impact anyway. But here's the thing. This city with a poverty rate of 26% can't say new people are not welcome. The new people are not doing the assessments. It's the city in the back room that are doing the assessments. And so I don't want my lawsuit to be interpreted as oh, we don't need any more construction. We do. We need development in our city. What we need, though, is a city and a mayor, because they make it really hard on city council, is a mayor that says, we understand that this is a problem. Fix the problem with the assessments, and then create programs that help keep people in neighborhoods. There's no reason that these neighborhoods should be all of a sudden get completely changed and our people not be able to live in them.
So Main Street, I want to ask you this question. Your client, and you said, how old is your client again?
I don't want to say exactly, but he's
up there
around 80, between 80 and 90.
Okay, so when you were on Solomon's show, I think it was last week, and there were some calls that came in, and they said, well, that if you're beyond a certain age in the city of Philadelphia, you no longer have to pay real estate taxes. But then it had something to do with age, well, not age limit, but it had something to do with income. It was income tested. And
that is simply not true.
I wanted to get that out there.
Yeah, that is simply not true.
So that can be corrected.
You pay real estate taxes no matter how, you pay real estate taxes on your property. The city of Philadelphia can enter into legitimate agreements that allow you to pay over time. I'm for that. But I'm not for people having to pay taxes over time that they should never have had to pay in the first place. Now, there are a couple of programs, the Loop and some things that remove from the assessment certain parts of it, like I think one of them is
30%.
Yeah, 30% of the assessment. But the way these assessments are going, that doesn't help. That doesn't help very many people, and it doesn't go very far. I mean, if you got a 61% increase in your real estate tax bill, and 10% of it you get a break because you've been in the neighborhood a long time, that doesn't help you very much. And so there is a fundamental problem with the way they're doing it and this overassessment, and the fact that there are a couple of small programs that are not big enough, and they're not well funded enough, and they're not properly administrated, doesn't mean that you don't have to fix this. In addition to which, it does nothing to solve the problem of the mayor being able to raise hundreds of millions of dollars of real estate taxes without going to city council, just because he and his guys in the back room say we are raising the assessed value of properties.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. You're listening to WURD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source, Black Women's Leadership, and we'll be right back.
1 in every 4 of us can't make ends meet. We can keep pre-K for our children and still get rid of that ridiculous soda tax. Drug injection sites are not safe, and someone gets killed almost every day in Philadelphia. From poverty to potholes, we can do better. I am Anthony Hardy Williams, and I have been listening to you.
We can move Philadelphia forward together. Vote Anthony Hardy Williams for mayor. Paid for by Williams for mayor.
Need a new mattress? Stop by to see Julian, the mattress man, located at 7421 Stenton Avenue. You deal directly with the owner, Julian, to ensure the best prices on name brand mattresses like Sealy, Posturepedic. Call 215-424-5550. That's 215-424-5550.
The Kimmel Center offers free arts education programs to schools across the region. Teaching artists visit classrooms to educate, engage, and inspire the next generation using creative learning experiences, and schools take trips to the Kimmel Center for live performances. The Kimmel Center is committed to educating Philadelphia's youth by providing access to quality arts. For more information, visit kimmelcenter.org.
I'm Democrat Jamie Gaudier, and I'm running for City Council in the 3rd District. Growing up in Kingsessing, I learned the importance of community. I founded a program to help single moms graduate college, served as executive director of the Fairmount Park Conservancy, and created jobs and affordable housing programs. I'm Democrat Jamie Gaudier, and on City Council, I will battle gentrification and improve our schools. It's time for new leadership in West and Southwest Philly.
Paid for by Jamie for West Philly.
One Soul presents their annual Men's Day Dinner and Show, Saturday, June 15th at the luxurious Centurion Hall in Cheltenham, with live performance by Real Men and Philly's Intruders featuring Tony Strong. For tickets, go on Eventbrite or call 267-918-5522.
Now, with more clarity, this is Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Streaming live at wordradio.com. Word TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at Forward. Word TV. Black Talk Media.
I cannot rest. I cannot dream. I cannot stay silent. I feel the violence in my soul. Feel the violence in my soul. I'm tired of human lives turned into hashtags and prayer hands. I'm tired of watching these murderers get off while we bury the lost love. Innocent brothers and sisters, it's time to wake up, wake up, wake up. Brothers and sisters, it's time to say something, do something, make them. I wonder how many black lives, how many black lives, how many heartbeats turned into flat lines. Oh. How many black lives, how many black lives does it take to wake a change? Does it take to wake the change? Does it take to wake the change? We can't let them die in vain. Will it take to wake the change? I cannot wait and be quiet. Oh, change does not come for the silent. I'm tired of excuses for all of these injustices. I'm tired of all the
We're back. You're listening to WRD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source, Black Women's Leadership. And here today with Emma Shackell and myself is Reverend Bill Moore and former Mayor John Street. And so Reverend Moore is about to leave us, and he's going to make some closing statements.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Mayor, certainly good to see you. I want to make just one comment about the Homestead program, because we work with your administration, and as a result of that, on another nonprofit, we have 151 homes that are just 2 blocks from our church. And because the land was in the ownership of the nonprofit, it gave us more leverage to work with the developer. And what we were able to do before the contract was signed, we were able to get the developer to agree. It took a lot to do it, to divide 50% of his profits with the nonprofit. So he got 25%, we got 25%. Didn't want to do it, but he did. And so we have 151 African Americans in homes who would not be in homes. But with our half of it, we took the half of it and invested it, and we are now giving back small grants to nonprofits and scholarships to children. So our money is still working as a result of that. So I think we have to make it clear that we're not against development. We're against irresponsible development that pushes people out and not up, and we all can go up together. I want to make a comment about a couple other things. One is we've had a wonderful working relationship with the Coalition of Black Women, and I think we all in this studio agree that the problems we have are not going to go away with May 21st, and that we have to commit to continue to work together. We're going to work together with the Coalition of Black Women, the clergy. We're going to work with you in this tax issue, and a number of members who sit in our pews have tax problems, and so we're going to bring them out of the closet, and we're going to work together all over this city to make sure that our people get equity in this situation. And then finally, I want to encourage people to go out and to vote tomorrow, and there should not be any African American who is registered to vote who should not vote tomorrow. It would be disrespect to those who have died to vote or not to go out and vote tomorrow. Whether anybody pay you to use your van or not, whether they pay you, you ought to do it for free 99. That's a good price. Do it for free 99. People died that you could vote. So you ought to make that contribution back to the cause, because elections have consequences. We're living with that tomorrow. You just talk about filing a suit. There will be judges who will be running. And when you get judges, you get the right to interpret the law from your perspective. So even the law is not completely unbiased.
That's true.
And so we need to get out there and vote. And I want to encourage people to get out there and vote, whether you get a dime or not. It's an investment in our future, is really what you're doing.
And in your future, too.
Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Moore. We'll see you on the trail tomorrow.
That's right.
Absolutely. And even after the election, we got to continue this conversation.
Yeah,
we will.
We have a lot going on. That's true, that we're going to get back to after this election.
Absolutely. And Mayor, we're going to work with you.
So Mayor Street, that's a good segue to how can we help, and how can the listeners help with this lawsuit?
Well, I think after tomorrow, and what I'd like to do is have an opportunity to come back after tomorrow.
You certainly will.
So that we can talk a little bit about it. What we plan on doing is some workshops where people will be able to come and bring their forms, and some of this we'll be able to do online. Some of it will be able. There'll probably be a website so that we will be able to get to the people who need help in all of this. these forms are not necessarily complicated, but for some people it will be a stumbling block, and so we plan to be able to help them. I've been in touch with the Bar Association, the Philadelphia Bar Association, the Black Lawyers Association. My goal will be to develop and to get a cadre of lawyers. I think we could probably do it with 100 lawyers. We'll have a goal of probably in the neighborhood of 50,000 people that we think should be filing these appeals. In my mind, this is going to be the tax revolt of 2019. We are going to be fired up. We're not taking it. We're not having the mayor and his people in the back room raising our real estate taxes, exacerbating our gentrification problems in our neighborhoods. We're just not going to. We're not going to roll over for it. We're not going to stand. I am appalled that the stop and frisk mayor of the city of New York, what's that guy's name?
Mayor Bloomberg.
A billionaire Mayor Bloomberg comes into the city of Philadelphia in the last minute and spends $1 million.
That's
$1 million to get the mayor renominated and therefore reelected. What happens is they just render our efforts almost nothing. I look at Mayor Kenny's commercials, and if you looked at it, you would think that the city of Philadelphia is now going to have a $15 minimum wage for everybody.
We've been talking about that.
It's $15 that we impose, minimum wage that we impose on people who do business with the city. So that's just like saying the city. I support it. Don't get me wrong. I support people who do business with the city. Pay your help $15 an hour. But don't pretend like it's a citywide new $15 an hour policy.
Well, that's the same way we feel about the whole pre-K program.
It's the same thing.
Pre-K is not going to benefit the people who bear the brunt of the cost of the soda tax.
Absolutely. That's right. Absolutely. Now, if you have Mayor Bloomberg coming in, giving the Mayor Kenny $1 million,
how about
then
that?
our message gets drowned out.
Yes.
Our message gets drowned out because he's running commercial after commercial after commercial, and it's very difficult for the rest of us to cut through all that money on television. And so in this election, it's my understanding that Mayor Bloomberg drops $1 million in. The building trades drop in $500,000. And then a national teachers union gives $500,000. Now, they're all special interest groups. They're groups with the billionaire's money. He likes the sugar tax. Is he worried about what's happening in neighborhoods in this city?
How about
Does
that?
Mayor Bloomberg know that you can't drive down the streets of the city of Philadelphia without going into a pothole that will sometimes cost you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to get your
Or
car
that our
fixed?
children are dying every day on these streets.
Does he know anything about the homicide rate? No, he doesn't know anything about that.
No,
but he's
nor does
coming
he
in.
care,
Right,
probably.
he's coming in. He's going to pick our mayor.
That's right.
And it is terrible. It is. So, Senator Williams goes out. We work hard. We knock on doors. We put up posters. We do the things that we can do with the money that we have.
Right.
And then, he comes in with $1 million and then just runs. So I think in addition to all this other stuff, we have to talk about campaign finance.
reform.
We have to
Absolutely.
talk about campaign finance. Now, a lot of people in the community that I live in think that the district attorney Krasner's doing a good job. I like a lot of the stuff that he's doing. I mean, some of the stuff, the cash bail stuff and all that is really good stuff. We didn't pick him. George Soros picked him. He came in with a couple $1 million. What if the person he supported wasn't somebody we didn't like? Suppose it was somebody who was from the far right who had policies we didn't like.
Right.
So we now have a district attorney that wasn't picked by us. We're going to have a
That
mayor
happens to be doing a good thing, doing a
that
good
most
job.
of which we like.
Yeah, most
a
of
mayor that will be largely picked because of outside money that, and they're entitled to have their issues, and I'm for that. But what about the rest of us? What's going to happen in 2023? Who's going to pick our mayor then? Who's going to pick the mayor after that? Where are regular everyday people? You could have 100 coffee clatchers, and you can get out in the neighborhoods, and then all of a sudden here comes $1 million, and the
And
little
ads
bit
on TV, buying ads on
right,
TV.
and a little bit of money that you could raise, gets run over by, and look, you can't blame this on people. I mean, people, they turn on the television every time you turn on, it's a Jim Kenny commercial, and I think that this is, as George Burrell always says, politics is a contact sport. And so we end up having to fight with what we have. But I think the rules have been changed against us.
They sure have.
And I think we have to focus right in on campaign finance reform so that we will have regular, everyday Philadelphians will have a better opportunity to compete in these elections. So the answer to the question is we intend to set up programs, we intend to set up locations where people can come. We plan to get lawyers, free lawyers that will come in and help people file their appeals. Our goal is to, when their hearing comes up, to have a lawyer go there so that they won't have to go there and sit by themselves. And if their appeals are denied, we will file appeals in a common pleas court. Because that's what they're saying. They're saying you have to, in legal speak, you have to exhaust your remedies before you're entitled to go to court, right? Well, okay.
Your internal.
Yeah, your internal appeals. So that would mean the 580,000 real estate taxpayers would all have to take an appeal. And all of those appeals would have to be acted on by the Board of Revision of Taxes. And then,
that's a lengthy time period.
Absolutely. That's a and in the meantime, they can charge you late fees and penalties for your not having paid on time. So it's a bad problem.
What was the law that gave them the right to make it individual rather than class action?
There are principles of the law that determine the appropriateness of having a class action suit. And I believe that our situation meets those tests. That's one of the things that ultimately will get argued. I believe, that there are common issues and that there's more harm to if the lawsuit is not, if the class action lawsuit is not given as opposed to if it's given. There are a whole set of principles which I think we ought to meet. But look, the mayor's got 200-300 lawyers in the law department. Yeah. Can hire any kind of law firm he wants to hire. I said in my op-ed, they're going to file preliminary objections. They're going to have papers coming at us. And I said, I'm going to get some help, but maybe you might be able to just beat me down legally with all those papers and stuff, because that's what they do. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just the way the law works. But you know what? They are not going to be able to stop us from getting people to file appeals. Now, what they ought to do is just say you are right. They ought to say you are right. We need to fix this system, and that we ought to stop all the spot assessments. We're going to reassess all of the city, reduce the properties assessments that are high, increase the ones that are low, and then work out a legal way of doing annual assessments. That would be too much asking for something fair and reasonable. And they're going to stonewall, and I don't think they're ever going to make any kind of an agreement, and I think we're just going to have to fight this. And,
Well, my question is, do you think all this taxing of the poor people is so that we lose our homes? What is this about? What is the root of this? How much taxes can you pay?
Well, I think for me it's as much insensitivity as anything else.
I see.
So you get people. Mayor Kenny is known for not going out into a neighborhood.
Oh no,
he won't come out. He wouldn't go to debates. He wouldn't go to community forums.
Nope.
You cannot be in touch with everyday people and the issues that they confront if you are locked up in City Hall all the time.
That's right.
Well, he's been told by a certain group of people that he doesn't need to do that.
That's exactly
right. He
right.
has certain black representatives who have advised him, and he came into office believing that he only needed certain people in order to get elected that helped elect him, and he didn't think he needed anybody else, and he totally ignored everyone else. And those are the people who he listens to.
Well,
and I'm told he'll say that publicly. Well, if he gets these 3 or 4 people, he got those.
He don't need anybody else.
He don't need anybody else.
all you need is a handful of people willing to come out and say they're for you, which is nothing against. People can be for who they want to. Then he backs that up with $1 billion from
New York.
Bloomberg,
Yeah,
$1 billion
from
from New York, $500,000 from the building trades, $500,000 from the teachers union, and he says, I don't have to go to these community forums. I don't have to worry about all that.
I don't care about the people in the neighborhood.
I don't have to walk around. We did regular walks out in neighborhoods. I used to say to district council people, take me to your biggest problem. Councilwoman Blackwell and I and Clark and all of them, and Miller, we spent time walking around neighborhoods.
Right.
I tell this story, and there are some people who don't say, what? We shut down 309 open-air drug markets. You know how that program was conceived? You know what happened? I was in a neighborhood with Councilwoman Miller. A lady came over to me, an African-American female. You know how y'all grab us by the arm, and she took me off to the side and said, I can't sleep at night. She said, they're on this corner 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I've moved my bedroom 3 times. I can only go to sleep when I'm too tired to stay awake. Please do something. And I'll never forget it. I went back to City Hall, and then shortly thereafter, it was really interesting. Council President Clark, who was then the 5th District Council person, came down and said, we have the NTI program, people love it. The first thing they say is, but you have to do something about the drugs. Less than 90 days later, we put 2 cops on every one of 309 corners in this city and shut it down. There was a guy who told me over in West Philadelphia, we were just walking on the street, just Councilwoman Blackwell and I, we were out there just staying in touch with the community. And a guy said to me, an abandoned car has been in my block for 25 years. How can an abandoned car be in a block for 25 years? And he said, and every mayor said they were going to do something about it, and no one did. You know what I did? I said, we're dealing with the abandoned cars. And we got so many abandoned cars off the street that people were hiding their old cars.
I remember that.
You know,
yes.
And you get inspiration from being out among the community if you're not afraid of the community.
So I want to ask you this question, and I go right there to it. So when I talk to my friends up in the Northwest, they say that when you were mayor, you abandoned them, that the 9th Councilmatic District didn't get resources, they didn't get what Janie got, they didn't get what some of the rest have gotten. What do you say to that?
Well, I say that I dispute that. And I think that's basically not true. I went into every district of the city, and I went into every district, and I invited every district council person to come with me to the district, whether or not we were from the same political family or not. And different people have their own recollections, and I believe if I could, if I needed to, I could prove that we went into every neighborhood of this city. But one of the problems that we all have in these communities is sometimes our rear view mirror is just too sharp. What we need to do is stop looking in the rear view mirror and start looking forward. If I had spent all my time looking in the rear view mirror and then and determining who was for me or who was against me, when I ran for mayor in 1999, George Burrell had run for mayor in 1991 against my best friend, Lou Blackwell. Well, I couldn't say, George Burrell, you don't have any right to run for mayor. I just had to win my race. And then when I decided to run, and I started working with George because he is a good guy who is smart. When I ran for mayor in 1999, I could not have won the Democratic nomination if all of a sudden I'm looking in the rear view mirror, George Burrell, you did that, you were with the real great people, you all did this, you all did that. I mean, and there's too much of that. There's too much looking in the rear view mirror, right? During the course of this primary, I went to a fundraiser for Sherelle Parker. I'm not against Sherelle Parker. I'm not against the Northwest. They can be for whoever they want to be for. But I think that there are some of these issues that are beyond even any election, and I'm hoping that people, no matter who you were for in the primary, I'm for Williams. I think he'll be a better mayor on his worst day than what we've been getting out of the current administration. I think his administration will look more like the city. I think African American women will be in it. I think clergy people will be in it. I think Latinos will be in it. I think it will be a better administration. Now, there are people who disagree with that. I'm hoping that what will happen is that the primary will be over and we will not be blinded by the rear view mirror, and we will all be able to look forward, and we will be able to get people who, even though they were for the mayor, will understand that this situation is wrong. This assessment situation is wrong.
Totally
Something
wrong.
has to happen about a lot of problems that we are having in this city, and that they will not be completely and totally and forever, because that's what people do, right? We just get caught up in the rearview mirror. And if I started to name the things and the people who oppose me for all kind of different things, I just stopped. I said, you know what? This is politics. It's a contact sport. People don't have to be with me on everything. And I decided I was going to win my election, and I did. And but this is, to me, this is above partisan politics. This is beyond internal differences that we have about, you know, maybe one person is for the sugar tax and another person is against the sugar tax. We might have our differences about some things, but this whole taxation without representation, you know, and 200,000 people being overassessed and paying too much taxes, that's not a partisan issue. That's not an internal squabble issue. That is something that is so fundamental to our city and to our commonwealth that we ought to need to band together and say to the mayor, you have to do something about this. Don't think you're going to let this slide. Do something about it, or they should be helping us get the 50,000 people to file the appeals to shut this city down, shut this system down until it gets fixed. City council, the council president, they have all been trying to do something about it. Different people doing different things. This is a fundamental issue that goes to the heart of our democracy.
We're going to go to break, but before we go, I want to make this one comment. I've learned in the years that I've been around here is that in politics there are no permanent friends, no permanent enemies, just permanent interests. We'll be right back.
Get your money straight.
Get my money right.
With Solomon Jones and Akbar Hassan.
Fridays on Wake Up with Word.
7 a.m. till 10 a.m. Hosted by Solomon Jones. Exclusively on Word Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Streaming live on wordradio.com and on the Word Radio app.
I'm Democrat Jamie Gaudier, and I'm running for City Council in the 3rd District. Growing up in Kingsessing, I learned the importance of community. I founded a program to help single moms graduate college, served as executive director of the Fairmount Park Conservancy, and created jobs and affordable housing programs. I'm Democrat Jamie Gaudier, and on City Council, I will battle gentrification and improve our schools. It's time for new leadership in West and Southwest Philly.
Paid for by Jamie for West Philly.
Are you stressed from work and daily life? Are you lacking the confidence to become the person you want to be? Do you want to take your healthy lifestyle to the next level? If so, let's work together. Hello, I'm Halana, your resident self-care strategist. 14 years ago, I started my very own wellness journey, and since then have been able to help hundreds of people to regain control of their lives through yoga, meditation, and plant-based eating. If you want lasting lifestyle changes and to build healthy habits that will grow with you, text me your email address right now. I know you have your phone in your hand at 267-281-3890. Again, that's 267-281-3890. Text me your email address to receive your very own self-care guide.
Word Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
I'm supporting City Councilwoman Janie Blackwell for re-election in the 3rd District. I'm proud of the work she's done already. Here's what she's done lately. Mount Vernon Manor, Mantua Square, $1.2 million for renovations at Miles Mack Rec Center, $17 million for Lucian Blackwell Rec Center, $15 million for King Sessing Rec Center, and introduced Parking Authority Amnesty Bill to bring relief to residents with old parking ticks and much more. May 21st, push button 84 for Janie Blackwell.
I'm Janie Blackwell, and I authorize this commercial. Stanley L. Strotter, Treasurer.
Word family. Our friends at Amoroso's Baking Company are hiring right now. Amoroso's has been baking the delicious bread in our community for over 100 years. and they want you to join their team today. The old and the young love Amorosos, and they're hiring right now. Check it out. They offer fair pay and provide health, dental, and prescription plans after 90 days of employment. Call Scott Drummond at 856-754-0360 or visit amorosos.com for details.
Now's the time to get your home ready for any season with a Pico Energy Assessment. For just $25, a Pico Energy Advisor will come to your home and recommend ways to make your home more efficient and more comfortable year-round. Schedule your assessment today at pico.com/assessment or call 1-888-5-PICO-SAVE. That's pico.com/assessment or call 1-888-5-PICO-SAVE. Plus, you may be eligible for an assessment for free.
Word TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at forward. Word TV. Black Talk Media.
You're listening to The Source on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
We're back, and you're listening to Word WRD, 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source, Black Women's Leadership. Emma Chappelle and I are here with Mayor John Street. And before we let him go, there's a question. We get a caller that calls this show and others and blames you for NTI and the gentrification. And now that we have you here, I want you to address that.
So here's the issue. So when I became mayor, there were hundreds of open-air drug markets all over the city. The city was littered with abandoned cars. You know, there were trash all over every lot. If there was a vacant lot, it was trash on it. I mean, and it was despicable. And people said we can't live, and we shouldn't have to live in neighborhoods like this. Right. And people said do something about it. And I said okay. So we did a study of neighborhoods. We did a study of a lot of different things. And we got rid of every abandoned car. We shut down every open-air drug market. In my first term, we cleaned every vacant lot twice. We didn't care who owned it. I said, clean it and lean it. We're cleaning them. We don't care. We're not going to go and send people notices. Clean it and lean it. And we planted thousands of trees, and we fenced the little lots with the wooden fences. And we had development conferences. People complained that nobody wants to live in my neighborhood. I can't sell my house. I can't do anything. You have to fix these things. And so we did what people were demanding that we did. They didn't call me the neighborhood mayor for nothing. Councilwoman Blackwell, one day, we found there was an old abandoned car lot that was 2 or 3 stories deep, cars just piled on top of each other. You know, what are those animals that roam all around in those urban animals?
Rats.
No, they're not rats. No, they're not rats. I'm talking about their...
Oh, yeah, we have them. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, they're just...
ugly looking.
Yeah, they're ugly.
I know
it's
which
just
ones
awful,
you're talking
right?
about.
So when you do all of those things that people ask us to do, we did them, and people asked them, you know what will happen? People are going to build in neighborhoods. People are going to say, oh, this is a nice place to live. We always knew these communities were nice places to live. People should have known, because we wrote it down in reports, that if we do all of these things, people are going to want to live in these neighborhoods. So it has been 12 years, all the Nutter administration, and now in the 4th year of the Kenney administration, and now people are just waking up to the fact that there's development going on in these neighborhoods. We were supposed to get prepared for this from the very beginning, because we knew we were supposed to put programs in place. We were supposed to give low-interest loans and grants and stuff to help people stay in our neighborhoods.
Repeat that.
We were supposed to have done low-interest loans and grants, and we were supposed to provide all kinds of assistance for people in these neighborhoods.
Which would have been part 2.
That would have been the follow-up to NTI.
And so somebody missed part 2. Who
I can
missed
tell
part
you,
2?
the Nutter administration did nothing about any of this, nor did the Kenney administration. The only group that has really tried is Council President Clark and City Council. Council President Clark authored a tax called the construction tax, and he wanted to develop. He wanted to do affordable housing. Most of you might remember when he first got elected council president, he said we need 2,000 units of affordable housing in these neighborhoods. 2,000 units. He said it might not be enough, but that's what we need to do. And people didn't do anything about it. And now we look around one day, right, and the developers, they're not stupid. They look around and they say, oh, these neighborhoods look good again. They look all right. And so they start building on them. And then what happens is they build, and they have to charge rents because they're not getting any whole lot of subsidy. And then people said, oh my God, this gentrification, they're running us out of our neighborhoods. We sat on our hands, with the exception of a lot of work that Council President Clark and City Council tried to do. These administrations did nothing. And now when it's all out of hand, they want to say, oh, well, you know, what can we do now? People talk about the 10-year tax abatement. We all knew the 10-year tax abatement was going to be a continuing issue. We all knew that. The 10-year tax abatement, at the time we put it into effect, there was no market rate housing being built in the city of Philadelphia. It just wasn't. So you get the 10-year tax abatement. I go out and clean up all of these neighborhoods, and people build. Well, what did we want them to do? We wanted them to build. What we didn't want is for a mayor to kind of sit on his hands for 8 years and do nothing. This whole assessment stuff was done under the Nutter administration. This moving to AVI and to 100% assessment, that was all Mayor Michael Nutter programs. And so we had, the street administration had done all that blight removal, and now they've moved to 100% assessments. They foul up how they do it, and now we end up with a super gentrification problem and a problem where all of these properties are in these neighborhoods are overassessed, and they're in jeopardy of being pushed out of their neighborhoods. And so for somebody to say, you know, it's the street administration's fault, would be like saying, oh no, you should have left the abandoned cars in the neighborhood. Oh, you shouldn't have shut down the open air drug markets. You shouldn't have demolished all those old houses that were creating blight in the neighborhood. Oh, why did you go and clean all those vacant lots? Now people want to move on, build houses on those vacant lots. Oh my God, you planted just too many trees and it's just too much fencing. If you hadn't done all of that, we would not have a gentrification problem. No, we wouldn't. We would just have blighted neighborhoods. We would just have blighted neighborhoods. I have been beaten up more in neighborhoods by people who say there's not a single mortgage available to anybody who wants to buy my house. Under the NTI program, Citizens Bank put the first $500 million of regular mortgage, not subsidized, of regular market rate mortgages in neighborhoods. The city was never going to be rebuilt. These neighborhoods were never going to be rebuilt using CDB, community block development money. It's just not enough. But we do know that if we cleaned up these neighborhoods, we can get private mortgage money in, and we can start doing let the private community be involved in it. But we didn't take care of our low-income people in neighborhoods. That's what we did. We didn't do it. And they knew that it needed to be done. And they sat around, and in fact, it's so appalling to me that what Mayor Nutter did was he paid no attention to this, and then he gave us the Stop and Frisk program. So black people, poor people in neighborhoods were all worried about, am I going to be able to walk down the street without getting stopped? And it was so bad that the American Civil Liberties Union and the NAACP all sued about stop and frisk, and they ended up with a consent decree that some people are saying that the mayor isn't even honoring. So for somebody to blame gentrification on the street administration is somebody who either has no idea about how all of this stuff works,
or has an agenda.
Or has an agenda. You know, I think in neighborhoods in this city, I am so proud of the fact that we spent hundreds of millions of dollars cleaning up these neighborhoods, hundreds of millions, not just a few, hundreds of millions of dollars. Because people deserve neighborhoods where they could walk to the corner store, where they could look around and they didn't have to see all the blight and the deterioration.
Right.
And we spent a lot of time doing it. And I will tell you, if Senator Williams comes out of this primary tomorrow, we will have a variety of an NTI too, where we go back out, because there are people who are complaining now that the drug corners are coming back and that crime is out of control. And I have every reason to believe that Senator Williams will be sensitive to all of it. He will get out in these neighborhoods. He will understand what people are going through, and the capacity and the willingness of the city to adapt its programs to everyday needs of people will be dramatically improved.
Okay.
Well, we want to thank you for being here today.
Yes,
You're gonna come back.
absolutely.
You're gonna
Yes.
come back.
I will be back.
Okay.
Listen,
You could do a weekly segment or some, bi-weekly or something, and we can come in and give you a report where we're going
we
to
are,
be,
yeah.
and the lawyers that are going to be there, and we'll be there to do your assessments. We'll have a phone number. We'll have a website. This has got to be a fight that we're in it, as they say, we're in it to win it.
we're in it to win it too, and
That's
we're going to
right.
be right there with you. Thank you
you so much.
Mainstream,
Thank you for
coming
having
in.
me.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. We're going to go to break, and we'll be right back.
I mean,
Spend it all. I have not money. We make it. Before we see it, you take it. Oh, make me wanna holler the way they do my life. Yeah. Make me wanna holler the way they do my life. This ain't living, this ain't living. No, no, baby, this ain't living. No, 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 no. Inflation, no chance to increase finance. Bills pile up, sky high. Send that boy off to die. Oh, make me wanna holler the way they do my life. Yeah, make me wanna holler the way they do my life. Oh, baby. La 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 hang-ups, letdowns, bad breaks, setbacks, natural. Fact is, honey, that I can't pay my taxes. Oh, make me wanna holler and throw up both my hands. Yeah, and make me wanna holler and throw up both my hands. Oh, crime is increasing. Trigger happy, policing. Panic is spreading. God knows where we're headed. Oh, baby.
Listen to Word Radio on the go with the Word Radio app. Search for WURD in your favorite app store today and take us with you wherever you go. Stay connected to Word Radio, independent Black media.
This is Marion Tasco asking you to vote Green first on May 21st. In his first term, Derek Green has worked hard to create opportunities for all Philadelphians, and he will continue to fight for our economy and our schools. Derek Green has the experience, leadership, and vision to move Philadelphia forward. Join me in pushing button 78 on May 21st to re-elect Councilmember Derek Green.
Paid for by the Green Fund.
The Kimmel Center for the Performing Arts is excited to present the next installment of their Jazz Residency collaboration for 2019. In its 6th year, the Kimmel's Jazz Residency program is designed for groups of local artists to create their amazing personal stories through the jazz music genre. Performing in the Kimmel's SEI Innovation Studio Thursday, June 6th will be trombonist Dan Blacksburg with percussionist Joseph Goldman. Friday, June 7th will feature the amazing sounds of guitarist David Allen, poet laureate Raquel Salas Rivera, and violinist Diana Monroe. And June 8th, the soulful Latin American composer Dario Peñazek, lyricist Maya Peñazek, and singer Ariacine Trujillo. Tickets on sale now for these special BYO events. Visit kimmelcenter.org or call 215-893-1999.
Support independent Black media and join the Forward movement now at 215-425-7875
or visit wordradio.com.
What's cheesy, topped with a fluffy egg and crisp Applewood smoked bacon? Easy. McDonald's new $2 breakfast deal. For a limited time, get a flaky bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit for just $2. And if you're craving something savory and sweet, get a delicious bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles for the same price. Hurry in and bite into this tasty deal any day of the week. Only at McDonald's. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal for a limited time only.
Hello, Philadelphia. This is Omar Sabir, and I'm asking you to vote on Tuesday, May 21st. People died for our right to vote. If you want better schools, if you want reduced crime, if you want an overall better quality of life, then vote. Your vote counts. Push 35 and it'll make you feel alive. Omar Sabir for City Commissioner on Tuesday, May 21st. Paid for by Citizens for Omar Sabir.
Walter E. Sabbath Jr. Funeral Service is introducing Cremations Are Us by Sabbath. That's S-A-B-B-A-T-H. Cremations Are Us by Sabbath is the result of their 26 years of experience with individuals and families who choose cremation. Sabbath knows that families who choose cremation have the same needs as those who choose burial. Sabbath's new component, Cremations Are Us by Sabbath, emphasizes the wide selection of services they've always offered. Visit their website, sabbathcare.com, for details or call 215-924-4101. You're listening to The Source on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
I know, we don't have much time.
We're back. You're listening to WRD, Word, 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source, Black Women's Leadership. And as promised, we're going to go directly to the phone to Jetty Newkirk, who's going to give us our judges. Jetty?
Hi, how are you? Good job.
Thank you, Jetty.
Hello, everyone. We have Teresa Brunson.
Okay, wait a minute. Let's everyone, for the people who want the judges, get your pens out, get your paper. We're going, and we'll read them again. Okay, Jetty, start.
Teresa Brunson, Municipal Court, and her lever number is 30. Statewide, and this is really important because this is the Superior Court, Amanda Green Hawkins. When you make those appeals from Court of Common Pleas, it goes to Superior Court. Her lever number is 3. For Court of Common Pleas, where we have a whole bunch of folks, we have Leon Goodman, lever number 8. We have Kateria McCabe, lever number 15. We have Kendra McCrae, lever number 16. We have Sherman Topping, lever number 14. And for anybody who doesn't like any one of those, we have Terry Booker, lever number 26. That's Court of Common Pleas.
Say that again. What was the
Court of Common Pleas.
Court of Common Pleas, yes.
Now so let's repeat them again.
Yeah.
I gave them 6 names for Court of Common Pleas.
And how many can they vote for, Jenny?
You can only vote for 5, so I gave them an extra one.
Okay, so you want to go over them again?
Yes. I'm doing it by number. Leon Goodman, 8. Sherman Topping, 14. Kateria McCabe, 15. Kendra McCrae, 16. And we have Terry Booker, 26.
8, 14, 15.
And Janine Manasso is 22. That's
22.
Yeah. And it's spelled Janine, not Jann like Janie Blackwell's name. Momasso, and her number is 22.
Okay.
And please, Superior Court, Amanda Green Hawkins, number 3, and Municipal Court, Teresa Brunson.
All right.
And we're going to do it one more
nobody
time.
in Municipal Court?
Teresa Brunson.
Teresa Brunson.
Teresa Brunson.
Okay.
Do
so
it
go
again, Jenny.
Because people really want to know the judges.
Okay, Teresa Brunson, Municipal Court. That's the first one you're going to get. 30. And remember, these numbers are important because they're all mixed up because this is a large slate.
Yes.
Amanda Green Hawkins is number 3. For Court of Common Pleas, Kateria McCabe, 15. Jamie Momasso, 22. Kendra McCrae, 16. Sherman Toppin, 14, and that's Toppin. Leon Goodman, 8, and Terry Booker is 26.
Okay.
Thank you, Jetty. We appreciate
You're quite welcome, ladies, and thanks for doing a magnificent job. Did you tell the mayor I said hi?
You know what, Jetty? We were so busy getting into it, we forgot, but we're going to make sure.
That's all right. He's still listening, so hi, John, and glad that you were on, and know that you are still working. If you're going to need lawyers, I'm still working.
That's right. He got a lawyer. We got to make sure he got Jetty.
That's right.
Yeah. So we can get on, we can help you out with that. And I'm voting for Tony also.
Thank you, Jetty.
Thank you.
Right. Bye-bye, ladies. Thank you.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So we're coming to the end of the show. And, Emma, do you want to tell them that we've gone live on our...
Yes, that we have our website. And I'll be honest with you, I was just trying to get it. And that we are... and this, what's great is that the scorecard we've been working on is going to be on the website. Now, the dumb thing is that I can't find the website now. Do you have it there?
Yeah, but I'm up on it.
Okay, you up on it?
No. Hold on a second. Just keep talking about
Okay, well, anyway, we've done the scorecard. We spent a lot of time evaluating the mayor and city council, and we've scored them accordingly based on a lot of the legislation we looked up. And we're very, actually it's dismayed even when we looked at the results of the scorecard. We were dismayed by it. So I really think that the issue is that we need, what we're doing is very important to educate the community on what we're doing. And more importantly, as we present the scorecard, we're going to monitor this scorecard and then come back to people and let them know whether anything's being done about the things that we've identified as issues. So my understanding, it was bwlcphilly.com, but then we lost it, so that's why we spent so much time on this that it's just unbelievable.
It's bwlcphilly at Gmail.
At Gmail.
Yes, but we want the...
No, that's the web. That's the what you
we
call
want the... Yeah. Sonia, we need the actual website.
Yeah.
So we don't want a lot of dead air here. Okay?
No.
So We're trying to.
And the last one I have doesn't show it on there. That's with
Here it,
got
here it is.
Yeah,
BWLCphilly.com.
WLCphilly.com.
Yes, let's do it again. BWLCphilly.com. Website address.
www.bwlcphilly.com.
Got it? Want to do it one more time? BWLCphilly.com. And that's Black Women's Leadership Council's website, and you will find the scorecard on there this afternoon. We will also be giving you some of our choices on the website too, and we want you to go to the website. So we started today by talking about Fannie Lou Hamer.
Yes.
And what she went through to register to vote and how she took to task the Democratic Party.
Right.
We're asking you in honor of Fannie Lou Hamer and all of our ancestors who have struggled for the vote, who have died for the vote, to not sit home tomorrow. Get out and vote. This is precious. People in Washington spend every day figuring out how to take that vote from you. In some states, it is so regressive that they're doing everything that they can to discount the black vote. You have a right to vote. There's nothing, no apparatus in this city that's preventing you from going to vote. The vote is in your hands. Change is in your hands. You have that right to vote. Don't disappoint us. Don't disappoint yourself. Don't disappoint your community.
That's right.
Get out and vote tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
May 21st. Vote your choice. We've given you lots of information for you to be able to make informed decisions. This is about your life.
I agree.
Take it into your own hands.
And let me just say again, our website is bwlcphilly.com, and we have the scorecard up there, and on the scorecard we've recognized education, law and justice, politics, healthcare, and economic development. And I think that, like you said, we're also going to put on there before the day is out the people that we recommend that we vote for. And so I would like to direct people to that. And also our email is bwlcphilly@gmail.com.
We love you. We'll see you back on Wednesday, and we're going to have a lot to talk about because we're coming back on Wednesday with Ernest Owens. And so it's going to be hot up in here.
That's right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Love you. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
Watch this, y'all.